champions! Champions of Europe finally! History made in Istanbul! The treble complete! The greatest story in club history has an ending! And what a final chapter!
Hello everybody and welcome back to Typical City. Manchester City taking on Nottingham Forest, and I don't know why I'm pumping my fist, but I am excited. I think that's what it is. I'm really looking forward to this game. I've got a funny feeling it's going to be a high scoring game. Bags of goals. Can we see an Erling Haaland hat-trick? I'm hoping so because I do want to quiet a lot of the criticism that's been levelled his way just for missing some chances. I know some of them were quite serious, like sitters, weren't they, really, against West Ham. Big chances against West Ham, but against Red Star, I thought he was getting in good positions, like really good positions, and it's just a little bit unlucky, one smashing against the bar. Glazer putting in a bit of a decent performance, apart from that Alvarez free kick that found he whiffed it and put it into his own net ultimately, but I've got a funny feeling that Erling Haaland's going to be fiending for goals today. And can we make it 6 out of 6? Which is a record that will be equalled if we do, going against Chelsea's 2005-06 season, which was them defending the Premier League title that season, and they went on to win it with 6 games. I think they actually went 9 eventually. But if we can start that and emulate what Chelsea did that season. The last time we won our first 6 Premier League games of the season, though, was 2016-2017, which was Pep Guardiola's first season as Manchester City manager, which went on to finish 3rd. So we'll ignore that stat, put that stat in the bin, because it doesn't sound very good. But team news, good. Do you know what I've done? I've gone and predicted all 11, bang on the money, but I don't think it's that good achievement. I am blowing my own trumpet, but I don't think it's that good an achievement. Because who else, really, with what we had? Grealish has only just come back from fitness, so only Grealish or Doku was the debate, and it was just a 50-50 toss of a coin between Doku and Grealish. The rest of the side tends to pick itself with so many injuries, but I'll give it to you. We've got Edison in goal, back 4, which will probably be more of a back 3. Eventually, with Kyle Walker pushing forward. Kyle Walker, Akanji, Ruben Diaz and Gvardiol are the back 4. In front of them, you've got the double pivot of Núñez, who I'm really looking forward to seeing. First Premier League start for him as well. Rodri, just ridiculously good player. I can't have high enough praise for this individual. He's so good. Foden, Alvarez and Doku are the 3 sitting behind Erling Haaland. Well, they're not behind Erling Haaland. Foden and Doku will probably be either side. Foden's probably going to tuck inside. Again, that inverted winger that I was telling you about in the preview, I think that's likely to happen again. A system that Pep's employing ahead of everyone else, while everyone else is inverting their fullbacks. Get with the times, guys. Come on. Keep up. Pep Guardiola's F. Inverted fullbacks? Old news, mate. Old news. We're inverting wingers now. That's what we're doing, and you're behind. And Pep Guardiola, again, has a trick up his sleeve, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this system works throughout the season. Playing it with Kyle Walker, there's clearly a heavy dependency on Kyle Walker, which is a little bit risky, because we don't have options compared to Kyle Walker's attributes, that ability to get up and down. Bringing Rico Lewis on, who I love, by the way, I think he's a fantastic player, but he's much more of a traditional fullback, a little bit more technical. I can see him inverting himself and being an inverted fullback. I think he suits that system. Kyle Walker obviously doesn't, but we're asking him to go up and down that wing. Can Rico Lewis go up and down that wing to the extent Kyle Walker can? I'm not too sure, but thanks for joining me in the chat. I can see a few of you already. Darren's already in the chat. I think that must have been post the start of this stream, because I'm pretty sure he's gone to the game. Jack Lee said he couldn't make it to the game, but he's going to Arsenal to wind them up. Give it the big uns, Jack. Winding them up. City 5, Forest 1 is his prediction. Haaland 2, Doku 2, Alvarez 1, Awoni for the Forest goal. Hugh, good to see you, mate. Hope you're doing well. So glad Núñez and Doku playing in this game. Nunes in particular thought was excellent last week. Completely agree. Against Red Star, he dictated that midfield, didn't he? And I did see a little bit of criticism coming his way. Bugger, I can already see your comment, mate. Me and you, mate, we're going to go to lockerhead soon. We are going to blow soon, mate. Grealish hat-trick off the bench, says Bugger. I'm only messing, mate. I love you, really. I think he's winding me up with his Grealish loving. He has a secret. The guy has Grealish posters all over his wall. The biggest Grealish fan in the world is Buggin. Whereas I like him, but I do have question marks about Grealish. That I think he can deliver a little bit more. Looking at Alvarez on my screen there, that's so exciting to see Alvarez on the screen right now, because I never ever predicted him to become the player that he's become. You know, doing the role that he's been asked to do, stepping in, filling in for Kevin De Bruyne is one of the hardest tasks in football, really. Who can follow on? Imagine walking on stage after Kevin De Bruyne has done all his bits and bobs and done all the fancy footwork that you know that he's capable of. The numbers that Kevin De Bruyne puts on the board, Alvarez is clawing his way to those stats. I've got a figure for you here. In fact, he's created 16 chances this season. The last player to have done that at this stage of a Premier League season was Kevin De Bruyne, and he'd done 19 chances at this stage, and that was in the 2019-20 season. So he's on the cards, isn't he, for becoming that player? He's a very different player to Kevin De Bruyne, yet statistically, he's doing the job. You know, he's doing the job. And I'm really excited. I just think now, if you complement Alvarez's performance with Haaland finding his shooting boots, lacing them up, tying them tightly, and getting those shooting boots on firmly, banging in goals left, right, and centre, then I think we're in for a pretty promising season and a devastating season for the rest of the Premier League. If those two stay fit, it's a case of, you know, just get it up front, really, isn't it? It's a bit. Is it that simple? Get it into the final third and let Alvarez and Haaland work their magic. I know Pep Guardiola has always stated that even going back to his Barcelona days, he's always stated that my job is getting the team into the final third. And as a player, he never was able to be that final third player. He was as a number 6. He was a defensive midfielder who would sit in front of the defence and dictate the play. An incredible midfielder, Pep Guardiola. And his management style almost suits that. And I think that's why he's such a big fan of Rodri and why Rodri is as good as he is. Because, I mean, the pressure of having Pep Guardiola's standards behind you as a defensive midfielder, you think of Busquets, Philipp Lahm has stepped into that role. Plenty of players who've had to play in defensive midfield. Have any has been as good as Rodri? But the point I'm trying to make is that Guardiola is such a tactician and a genius at getting the ball into the final third. But back then at Barcelona, he had David Villa and Lionel Messi and such talent going forward in that Barcelona team that it was a case of get it into the final third and let those magicians work their magic and create something out of nothing. I'm sure he's got a tactic or two that he can involve in the final third, but ultimately it's let the flair players do their things. The sort of things you can't teach, in other words. Training isn't really going to do that. That's the stuff you learn as a kid. You know, you're almost born with those abilities to do that type of skill. Erling Haaland, he's born with it. A lot of his talent, he's born with it. Alvarez, the same. Messi's the same. Cristiano Ronaldo's the same. Nothing to do with this discussion, Cristiano Ronaldo, but you know the point I'm trying to make. In the final third, there's a lot of skills you can't teach. And Pep Guardiola's well aware of that. Are we that simple now of get it into Alvarez, get it into Haaland, and as long as the supply's there, the chances are there. Statistically, we had, 29 shots against West Ham, 30 shots on their goal against Sheffield United, 37 shots against Red Star Belgrade. If we keep doing that, we're going to win every game. You know, you can't go in games and getting 30 chances, albeit we only scraped a win against Sheffield United, and 3-1 had to be a comeback. But I like to think if we do that today, this could be the day where the stars align, you know, and eventually the goals start flooding in. I think this could be that day. I'm hoping it is. Mark, good to see you in the chat, mate. Afternoon, all you beautiful blues. Speak for yourself, mate. Look at this ugly mug. But I've got Haaland for a hat-trick, he says, and Alvarez hat-trick as well. That is bold, Mark. Good to see you, though, mate. Jack, I already made a Serbian newspaper for winding up Red Star fans. Did you? What, you made the papers, the Serbian papers for winding up the Serbian fans? Hugh says, let's get 12 points ahead of United. Come on. Is that what it will be? Jesus. it's game over for them already out of the title race. You know, is that obviously prior to their game against Burnley? Burnley, who haven't won yet, which I'm very surprised by, because I thought they did all right against us. They put that first 30 minutes, thank God Erling Haaland came out and scored within, 6 minutes or something, in that very first game of the season away at Turf Moor. But don't forget, after that, Burnley were creating chances. They were getting in on our goal, and Ederson had to pull off a few saves. I don't think it was really, really dangerous, but it was decent. They created a few genuine opportunities. And I think they've been all right. I think they were really unlucky not to get all 3 points away to Forest, who we're playing today, because Burnley got in behind them regularly. I watched that game purely because I had one eye on Forest, looking at the potential opposition that we're going up against today. And Burnley were in. You know, Kovacic was going up against Mateo, who's not playing right wing back today. In fact, I've not even given you the Forest team news. But the Forest team last week had Montiel at right wing back, as Kovacic just destroyed him, going down that left wing to the point where he was taken off at half time. Today, Serge Aurier, but bear with me, I'll give you the Forest team news, which I've got completely wrong. For once, I've got the City team spot on and the away team pretty wrong, to be honest. But Turner in net. Willy Bolly, who City fans might remember with a Wolves shirt on for him scoring a bit of a hand of God type moment. We were in the title running then. I was fuming at that goal. This was the season before VAR got introduced as well, and that was the exact type of goal that would just VAR now just mops it up. And albeit VAR's got criticism towards it because of the way that it's being implemented, I still think that VAR is the right thing to have as a system. I know there are still people that are of the mind of just abolish VAR completely. Get rid of it completely. Just go back to the old school on-the-field referee decisions. It does make for a little bit more of excitement and in terms of topics to discuss. But I'm not really interested in topics to discuss. I mean, to be fair, I should be. I'm on YouTube, aren't I, really? So I should be in the interest of topics to discuss. But I care more about City winning than topics to discuss. And too many times over the last decade, we've been robbed by decisions that would have been nullified or rectified, rather, by VAR. This one in particular, Willy Bolly. But anyway, that was just one sour memory of mine going up against Wolves. Niakate and Mangala, who I had as defensive midfield, but they are seemingly playing him as one of three centre-backs for Forest, with Bolly, Niakate, Mangala. It's going to be a flat back five. We've got Serge Aurier as right wing back, emphasis on the back. I can't see him going forward too much. He's got Doku to deal with today. Tavares left wing back, Sangare and Aina in the middle of the park. Ahead of them, it's a similar box system, very narrow, and that's what they did at the City Ground last season. Really narrow, forced us wide last season at the City Ground. It got a point for them. We dominated the game, but it also beat Arsenal in the same style of formation that they implemented for that game. Dominguez and Gibbs-White are the two ahead of Sangare and Aina, with Awani sat in front of them. Awani has got 9 goal involvements in the last 9 games. So a genuine player we need to watch out for. Someone that's got a fox in the box type attitude. He is good on the end of set pieces because of his physicality. The same attributes can be used for that long ball. Can they fire it up to him? Can he bring it down and bring Dominguez and Gibbs-White into the play? That's the danger. Diaz and Akanji have got to be super, super strong going up against Awani. That's their only threat, really. Set pieces and long ball probably on the counter-attack, potentially. But ultimately, I'm seeing a quite comfortable City win. I mean, what are your predictions? I haven't seen many so far. I saw 5-1 off Jack earlier. Ego, good to see you in the chat. I hope they will go full throttle from the start and not wait until the second half. That's a great point. We have been a bit of a team of two halves lately, haven't we? First half in particular, we've struggled, really. I mean, at Burnley, we got off to a good start. But really, Reds are, again, going 1-0 down. West Ham going 1-0 down. Let's go 2 or 3-0 up. You know, force their hand instead, because eventually it'll catch up with us. You know, going 1-0 down with City is a case of it sort of forces their hand a little bit, and they know they already wanted to defend and protect a 0-0. And hope for any scraps going the other way. That's most oppositions are gonna be like that against us this season. But you gift them a 1-0 lead, and it emphasises that same tactic again. It's even more defensive and protect a 1-0 lead, and it gives them confidence, it gives them spirit. We can't afford to do that in the Premier League. I think Red Star, there was no worry because I felt like straight away you could see their formation, the space they were giving us. I could tell straight away that their celebration was a giveaway, wasn't it? They could not believe it, could they? They were going mental. They were like, it was genuine astoundment from all of the Red Star team. Like, can you fucking believe it? We're 1-0 up. Like, they didn't know where to look, what to do. Like, the guy celebrating, Bukhari, was just running around like a headless chicken. Like, I can't believe it. I've scored. So that was an indication of their belief. They had none, really, going into that game. But in fairness, they only finished the game 3-1. Premier League opposition are very different, you know. I think, especially going up against Red Star Belgrade, for example, in comparison to that mentality. Forest will believe if we go 1-0 down to them. They'll believe. Steve Cooper will have that instilled in them. They are a strong mental side. And any team, really. Sheffield United, they got back into the game again. So we've got to nullify these little moments and mistakes because teams that's what they're thriving off. They're hoping for those moments. That Kyle Walker giveaway against Sheffield United, or Diaz stepping forward and trying to set an offside trap that was never going to happen. Those little moments, just eradicate those, and we should be walking games like this, really. Vinny, good to see you, mate. We should keep a clean sheet today. That's a good point as well. I want to see a nice, solid defensive performance. Just like I said, just eradicate the mistakes. You know, Lachelle Blue in the chat. Good to see you, mate. Hi, the Sky Blues. 29 watching. It should be 29 likes. Well, we've got 45 in the building, 22 likes at the minute. If you can bump that up, guys, that would be very much appreciated. City will be making a surprise transfer for Paulinho in January, says Noba. Is that proof? Have you got any evidence of that, mate? Because I'm a big fan of Paulinho. Big fan of Paulinho. But with Bayern Munich going in for him, I thought that, I mean, he was gutted, wasn't he, apparently? Apparently he was absolutely gutted to not get his move, and understandably so. Fulham to Bayern Munich, I mean, what a leap that is. I've been going on about Paulinho for years. Last season I thought, but it's a case of we've got Nunes, we've got Kovacic, we've got Rodri. I can't see a space. I mean, really, that spells, like, who? Obviously, Rodri's number one in that three I just gave you. Nunes is a bit of a different, but it is more of a Rodri. He's almost a like for Rodri, whereas Nunes and Kovacic have got a little bit more of a number 8 about them, a bit more box to box. I say that, Rodri's scoring every game at the minute, so it's like, it's just incredible, isn't it? It really is. He set standards, Pep Guardiola, that are just been unmatched. We've never seen anything like this, you know, like last season before that, this season now, it's like, you just sit there in awe, don't you? Just like, what are you doing next, Pep Guardiola? And we don't even question it anymore. Because I remember that Champions League final, and I agree with most City fans, when we lost to Chelsea in that Champions League final, you think, Pep Guardiola, what were you doing in that moment to not play a defensive midfielder? I understand where City fans were coming from, but now Pep Guardiola has proven that, I mean, 9 times out of 10, his what seemingly might be audacious tactics, just let the man cook. Just let him do his business. You know, let him do his thing for Manchester City, because 9 times out of 10 it works. You know, the guy's a genius. He was not against Chelsea in that one game, so I understand that there was caution going to Pep Guardiola tactics. But this season we've got Kyle Walker marauding down that right wing back position. The team's coming out now. Looking at that, Kyle Walker leading them out. Looking forward to this one. Big game. Big performance needed. I'm missing my lad's first ever football match, so I'm a little bit gutted about that. But yeah, he's playing his first ever football match today for a team. I mean, he's played a football match, just kicking it about and stuff. But he's currently, I just got a text saying he's doing really well off the missus, so I'm quite pleased about that. A bit of personal news there, but teams are out lining up. Jeff with the 2, thank you very much. Good to see you in the chat, mate. Hope you're doing well. Foden to score in the first 20 minutes. You're pulling it out again, Jeff. Anyone who's missed, I'm sure a lot of you have already been in the chats before, but Jeff is just a magician with predictions. And he's gone for a Foden in the first 20 minutes. If he does it again, honestly. I'm serious, Jeff. I'm going to give you the channel, mate. I'm serious. Sweet, good to see you. 2 minutes, guys. Remember my name. Marie, good to see you. Danny W, good to see you. Carlsberg Special Brew, says Jack. Is that what you're drinking, mate? Oh, mate, I'm jealous. Yeah, if you could drop a like on the stream, that would be hugely appreciated. 60 in the building, and if we could get that up, that would be nice. Hello from Denmark, says Little Fruity. Hello to you, mate. But what are your predictions? I haven't seen what we're going for. Big M saying... no, I just saw the 6-0. 3-0 from Sweet, you're predicting. Danny W saying he's thinking 3-2 City today. Ooh. We've always somewhat struggled against Forest for whatever reason. Not last season at home, but at their ground, I remember we were struggling. Dennis in the chat, good to see you, mate. Gibbs White is a very good player. I think he is, mate. Yeah, that was King23 saying that. Brennan Johnson was a big loss, wasn't he? Sold to Spurs in the transfer window. Brennan Johnson was a really good player, but I haven't seen much of him doing much at Spurs so far. But yeah, I think they're going to miss him. What are your predictions, Blues? Eric saying 6-1 City. Haaland bags 5. He's been saving them up. Mohammed, good to see you, mate. City should keep winning. 4-0 you've gone for. 4-1 City, says D Harsh. Big M says, Johnny, we would understand if you didn't stream today. If it meant you watching your son's first game, only happens once, but we appreciate your commitment to the channel. Yeah, mate. I mean, you've made me feel guilty, to be honest. Yeah, I do feel a bit guilty not going, to be honest. But I'm going next week, so it's Saturday games for him. And 9 o'clock kickoff. Today was a 2 o'clock kickoff. Who the fuck plays 2 o'clock kickoff on a Saturday for kids as well? Like, anyone who goes to the games or watches Premier League football, obviously, you're going to have to give it a miss, aren't you? But the missus is very kindly... who's a big red, by the way. We all owe her a... if you enjoy me, you owe her. If you hate me, then you must hate her as well, because she keeps making me available to do this work for you guys. So yeah, big up to the missus. Don't care what the score is, just get the win, says Mark. I agree. Gareth Southgate in the stands. Any central Foden play will be monitored by Gareth. James, little signpost. Good to see you from Thailand, mate. How are you doing? Alvarez on the ball. Kickoff is about to take place. Anthony Taylor is the referee today. Come on, Blues. I'm so excited for this game. I don't know why. There we go. Kickoff. Let's go. Alvarez all the way back to Edison. I've got a feeling this is going to be a genuine whitewash. I really think this is going to be a massive result for City today. A real statement. I'm hoping I'm not proved wrong, but let's have a look at the team. Yeah, as expected, Kyle Walker immediately goes forward. Foden getting out of the way of Kyle Walker by tucking inside as the inverted winger. So, yeah, as I said. Oh, cheers, Jeff. Nice one, mate. Jeff for the 2. Johnny's lad to score in the second half. Thanks, mate. I hope he does. In this game, or in his game, he's not far away from the Etihad, actually. He's playing in Stockport, which is just down the road from the Etihad, for anyone who doesn't know. Yeah, hopefully, yeah, that'll be nice, wouldn't it? I used to go to the games in my shin pads and full City kit. When I was a kid, my parents used to have to hang their heads in shame when I was going to Main Road, embarrassed. Like, look at our son there in full kit, and I'm there thinking I'm gonna get minutes today. Whoever it was, Joe Royal or Alan Ball's going to call me. Alan Ball could have called me on. The standard of quality for us back then was abysmal. And I mean, 8-year-old me, I could have done all right, you know. Could have done all right. Anyway, City dominating the ball. A bit loud in my ear at the minute. Cheers, Mustafa. Appreciate that, mate. James in the chat, I am up for this one. Please, everyone, hit the like button. Really helps. Thank you very much. Cheers, Murray. Thank you very much. Anyway, here's Alvarez, edge of the box. He sent Haaland through, but Haaland's brought down. That's a free kick if I've ever seen one. I think Anthony Taylor was waiting for the play on there. Good bit of refereeing from Anthony Taylor. His treatment at the in the Europa League final last season was appalling. Jose Mourinho waiting outside like some bloody WWE wrestler, just waiting to smack him around the back of the head with a steel chair. Like, what is going on? That was disgraceful. And then the treatment he got walking through the airport as well, just getting abuse off the Italian fans. It was disgusting. It really was. 2 minutes in, free kick, edge of the area. Haaland brought down by Willy Bolly. Alvarez standing above it. What are you thinking? I'm thinking this could well be Diaz in the ears of Alvarez and Rodri stepping away. I think there's only one man who's going to hit this, and it's Julian Alvarez. Could we get an early lead? There's something about Alvarez. He looks more confident. You know, there's no imposter mentality. Like, I don't think he had imposter mentality last season, but there was an element of like belief that was a little bit missing last season. This year, he's just like a man possessed, isn't he? Here he is, free kick, edge of the area, whips it. Oh, save, forced to save, bottom corner from Turner, tipped away for a throw-in. Good effort from Alvarez. No way. Andy Scott, hello from the beach in Porto Santo. No way, mate. What a great place to watch a bit of football. Come on, City, he says. Should be a comfortable game. I agree, mate. Douglas Wright says, I was better than Alan Ball. Yeah. As a manager, yeah, I think most of us were. He was an atrocious manager. God rest his soul. Rest in peace, Alan Ball. But great player. But an abysmal manager. Atrocious. Any updates on Kovacic's injury? No, that's what I said. I had someone say, I questioned that in the preview. Said, why was no one asking about it in the press conference? And then someone commented saying, well, they did ask. And I never heard that. I never heard anyone ask. And Pep's stated that he's available. Well, he's not playing, so he's not available. And I don't know why no one asked about that, because I think he's a huge player for us. I'm glad Núñez is in, because I think he did a great job against Red Star. Can he do it in the Premier League? I'm sure he can. But... yeah, no, the guy's been brilliant for us so far this season, Kovacic. You're just hoping anyway. Here comes Awoni, fending off Núñez as I speak. Ruben Diaz stepping in with a crunching tackle on two players. Ruben Diaz winning the ball back brilliantly. Rodri picks up the loose pieces. Back to Akanji. Really good strength from Ruben Diaz there. Awoni, you're in a game, mate. You're in a game. Ruben Diaz ain't taking no prisoners today. Soikri in the chat. Good to see a prediction. He's gone for 3-0. I predicted 5-0. I'm going 5-0 for this game. Oscar Bob hat-trick, says Mustafa. That's wild, mate. I'd love it to happen. I hope it does, mate. That'd be brilliant. Akanji, out to Walker. Haven't seen Doku on the ball yet. Looking forward to that. Going up against Serge Aurier. I mean, Forest have packed their back line on the edge of the area. It's all City so far, 5 minutes in. Here he is, Jeremy Doku, looking to beat his man up very easily. Just knocks it past Núñez. Doku, back to Núñez. Gvardiol. Similar setup to Red Star, to be honest, in terms of just it's all City, just total domination, attack versus defence so far. What we 6 minutes in, virtually, nearly 100% possession from City so far. Say the stats. Just wondering if we can make this possession, turn this possession into a City goal. Can Jeff work his magic with his prediction as well? Doku bringing it forward. Rodri, long ball into Foden. Walker, sorry, Foden, back, Foden! Jeff, mate. Jeff. What's going on, Jeff? I'm absolutely baffled by your predictions, mate. I'm absolutely... He says, thanks for the channel. I promised Jeff that he could have my channel if Foden scores in the first 20 minutes. He predicted it. He predicted it last week. He predicted it earlier in the Community Shield. It's getting frightening, Jeff. It's disturbing. It's disturbing level of future crystal balling. Foden's done it again. Jeff's done it again. I don't know how you do it, mate. Walker with a cushioned touch back to Phil Foden. A long ball all the way over the top to Kyle Walker. It's 1-0 City, by the way. I'm not celebrating because I'm frightened by Jeff's ability. It's scary. It's scary how much he keeps doing it. Honestly, Foden scored. It's a lovely goal. Anyway, it's Rodri, long ball over the top to Kyle Walker, who cushions it back beautifully to Phil Foden. It's 1-0 Manchester City. Easy as that. What a goal, by the way. Lovely touch from Kyle Walker. And Foden with the finish. Easy as that. Honestly, mate. Jeff. There's no way. You predicted it like before kickoff. So there's no way that you're watching the game that far ahead. You know, it's not like you're cheating and your stream's a bit further ahead than mine. You predicted it like 15 minutes ago or 10 minutes ago at least. Mental. Absolutely mental. That's 3 out of 3 for Jeff so far. Yeah, Hugh, what a ball from Rodri. Totally agree, mate. Totally agree. I'm still not over it. Anyway, Forest coming forward now. Can they answer back? Whipped into a one. Edison. Wow, good hands from Edison. Good hands. I've not done justice to that goal with my commentary, by the way, because I'm too blagged by Jeff's prediction. I'm freaked out. I'm unsettled. I'm disgruntled. Can you tell? I'm feeling a bit odd about Jeff right now. It's freaking me out. It really is. Yeah, change the score. Sorry, guys. Sorry. 1-0 City. Cheers. Hot hits. There you go. 1-0 City. Again, there's an example of how unsettled I am. I'm not keeping up. But I'm not done justice to that goal. That ball from Rodri, Walker's run to keep himself onside was fantastic. And the cushion touch from Kyle Walker was absolutely sublime. And then Foden's finish, get your head over the ball, hip over the ball, and drills it with a half volley into the bottom right-hand corner. Turner with no chance. Here comes Nunez, bringing it forward. Into Alvarez, looking for the 1-2. Breaks it up, but Rodri steps in. Rodri back to Guardiola, who's back in the starting 11, which is good. Doku now, down the left wing. With Aina, who's actually playing right wing back by the looks of it. Doku into Nunez, who miscontrols. It's going to go out for a goal kick. But really good from Doku, that was. I'm looking at their formation, and I don't think the formation I've put on the screen is anything like that. Such a good finish from Phil Foden, that was. Really good. Walker and Foden celebrating like they knew how good that goal was. Wanyi showing good strength, but Rodri steps in and sweeps it away, gets it away to Kyle Walker, who can bring it forward. We do Forest a big thank you for their game against Arsenal last season, winning us the Premier League title. Friday night game, you're thinking, well, Arsenal are going to win that, no problem. And all of a sudden, Friday night, Manchester City are Premier League champions. It was a bit mad, wasn't it? Wasn't expecting that. Who will win, Arsenal or Spurs? That's another game to look forward to. The intent today is to get this game done and dusted. Win comfortably, send a statement, and then we can sit back and watch Spurs versus Arsenal tomorrow night, which tomorrow evening. I'm looking forward to that game. Really looking forward to that game. But I do think it's... potentially, who wins that game could be our main challengers. I know Arsenal are the more likely. Spurs have got off to a good start, so to call Spurs a potential title challenger this early in the season is a bit of a rogue statement to make. But I don't know. Postecoglou he's got them playing differently. There's an aura about Spurs right now. There's an attacking mentality that wasn't there in previous seasons. I like the look of them. I really do. Add Maddison to that. Anyway, here comes City. Alvarez bringing it forward. Corner of the edge of the area. Into the edge of the area to Rodri. Looking for a nice ball to Doku, but cleared by Bolly. Good ball. Forest trying to bring it away there by Mangala, but Alvarez winning the ball back in the final third for Manchester City, which every good Pep Guardiola side tends to do, is win the ball back early. Núñez down the left wing. Doku inside this time, which is interesting to see. Walker down the byline, whips it in. Haaland waiting, no one there, unfortunately. Haaland was the only man in the box as Willy Bolly has taken one to the bollocks. Haaland finds that rather humorous. Kyle Walker's cross has been... Bolly's cleared it with his bollocks. Poor Bolly's bollocks. KDB and Núñez in the same midfield. The space he'll create, it's going to be off the chain, says Hugh. Yeah. Was it Willy Bolly? Yeah, it was. He's all right. He's back on his feet. Yeah, I agree, Big M. Totally agree, mate. It does depend on that first half of the season, doesn't it? Alvarez with the corner. Looking for a City shirt to get underneath it. Whips it in. Cleared. Only to Jeremy Doku, though. Knocks it back to Kyle Walker. Back to Jeremy Doku down the left side. Doku with looking for a left foot shot. Even I fell for that, thinking he was about to cross it. Nearly intercepted there, Ruben Diaz, but wins the ball back. Núñez outside to Alvarez. Alvarez 1-2. Oh, lovely ball from Foden to Núñez. Byline, back post. Haaland, goal! Brilliant. Absolutely fantastic football from Manchester City. Brilliant football. They are, honestly, I'm going to wax lyrical about this. The movement, the precision, the face of Erling Haaland, who's just going wild. And there is your Erling Haaland goal that I promised. I promised it you, and I've delivered. Well, I've not delivered. Erling Haaland's delivered. I'm going to take credit for it. But there you go. He looks angry. He looks happy right now. He was angry before the game, having missed some chances. But there you go. Erling Haaland header, back post from a Núñez cross. Fantastic bit of football. Alvarez into Foden. Núñez steps over the ball like he's going to take a touch. He doesn't take a touch. He leaves it for Foden, who receives the ball. Núñez carries on the run, round the outside down the channel, gets to the byline, dinks it back post. Erling Haaland's waiting, pretty unmarked, and he smashes it with those neck muscles into the far corner. Haaland with a goal. 2-0 Manchester City. That's game over, really, isn't it? I'd say that's game over already. I'm quite confidently saying that is game over. Delicious football from Manchester City. Really good. I loved that move. What a goal. Such good football that was. Really, really nice. Let's get this game done by half time. 3-0 game. Oh, would you say it's game over now? Núñez and Kovacic have settled in so nicely, says Jeff. They really have, haven't they? Doku, back post. Looking for Alvarez in the middle. Can it bobble to him? Oh, just a bit unlucky. Couldn't bring it under his spell. Foden into Rodri. I think Forest, they look a bit shell-shocked. Their movement, they're not closing down very well. They look out of their depth already. Foden with all the space in the world. Look at that. And then they think, right, we'll better go and get to him. Yeah, Forest look gone. They look head gone here. Rodri. Out to Kyle Walker. Back to Rodri. Diaz is the deepest Manchester City player who's on the edge of the centre circle. That's how far forward City are right now. Here's Doku with all the space in the world. Into Haaland's feet. Brings it into the edge of the area. Tries to lay it off to Doku, but a little bit under hit from Erling Haaland. Can Forest mount a counter-attack here with Gibbs-White trying to bring it forward? Has to go back thanks to the fantastic defending of Gvardiol. Keeping the pressure on. Alvarez closing them down. Forcing Forest all the way back to their own goal. Into their own corner flag. Really good from City so far. What a dominant performance this first 16 minutes has been. Brilliant. What? Mustafa, Sarajevo. Is that how you pronounce where you're from, mate? I don't know. Sarajevo. It's so aggressive, the wind in your area, that it's ripped a tree out of your garden. That sounds pretty brutal. Hope you're... Oh, shit. Kyle Walker's giving the ball away to Awani, who's bursting through. Can Diaz step in? Good defending from Akanji. He's given a free kick, has he? No way. I didn't see a free kick there. Anthony Taylor's dished out a yellow card for Akanji. I didn't see a free kick there, but free kick on the edge of the area. Maybe from Akanji, looking at that. He did an attempt. Yeah, he didn't really... I think the attempt made it look like a foul. He didn't actually connect with him. Awani goes down feeling the attempt, but he didn't actually touch him. But free kick on the edge of the area. Sloppy ball from Kyle Walker, knocking it back to Akanji. They're discussing it right now. Kyle Walker's seemingly trying to blame Manuel Akanji for that, but I don't see how that's Akanji's fault. Kyle Walker just misplaced pass straight to Awani, who's suddenly one-on-one with Diaz. Akanji chasing back, gets on his man, gets on the shoulder of his man, attempts to win the ball, doesn't win the ball, but it doesn't touch him either, but he goes down, and I think he's fooled Anthony Taylor into thinking that's a free kick, edge of the area. Can Forest get back into the game? This is a dangerous position. This is, if you could place a ball, if you had a free kick and you were just training and you could place the ball anywhere on the pitch, that's where you'd place it. It's the perfect place for a free kick. Yellow card for Pep Guardiola. He's obviously unhappy with something. Anthony Taylor storms over and gives Pep Guardiola a yellow card. Who's going to be taking this? Niakate is above it. I can't see him taking it. Gibbs White, yeah, I think so. We need German refs, says Mustafa. We need better refs, that's what we need. I don't care where they're from. We need better refs. I understand we've got to have English referees for the English game. Do we? Personally, I don't care where they're from. I just want the game to be officiated in the best possible standards. And so far, it's real hit and miss. You don't want to be talking about them. That's the thing, is you don't want to be spending every game talking about refereeing decisions. And it seems to always be the case, doesn't it, in the Premier League? Here comes the free kick. Gibbs White standing above it. I think it's Tavares, actually, who's above, who's looking for a left foot, or Gibbs White's right foot. Gibbs White, stuttering, steps forward, drilled, deflected just past the post. I say just past the post, but the wall does its job. It was quite some distance past the post, in truth, but corner. It was Nunes who got his back on the, he's got his back on the ball there and knocks it past Edison's post. Could have gone anywhere, that. Doofus, if we get anything less than 7, I'll have to be Pep out today. Yeah. Gibbs White with the corner. Whipped in, dangerous one. Punched away by Edison. Good, commanding goalkeeping from Edison there. Serge Aurier trying to get involved, but Alvarez steps in and clears it. Only to the feet of Willy Bolly. Awani down the left wing, not where he wants to be. He wants to be in the middle of the box. Oh! Who's that? Doku brought down. It's got to be a yellow. Tavares bringing down Doku. Sloppy bit of play from Tavares there. Brings down Doku. I mean, that was what? That was like 2-3 minutes of Forest possession and potential threat, all from one mistake. That's what I was talking about before the game, talking about Kyle Walker not making mistakes like he did against Sheffield United, or Diaz stepping forward like he did against Red Star Belgrade. Those little moments are what the opposition are living off, and their only hope with this style of football that we play, the domination and the man-for-man difference in quality that we have going up against pretty much every opposition we go up against, unless, you know, your Real Madrids, your Bayern Munich's, Arsenal potentially, Liverpool potentially. Everyone else is beneath us, man for man, you know. So you just worry about don't make mistakes. And it's almost ingrained into our muscle memory now. The formation and the ability to keep the ball is ingrained in our muscle memory so much so that it's just a formality. Just you're waiting for the opportunities to present themselves and don't make mistakes. That's it, really. Keep it simple. Don't make mistakes. One mistake and Forest have 2 or 3 minutes of chances, corners, free kicks and a bit of chaos. Just eradicate that and this game's done and dusted. Let's make it 3-0, says Big M. Luton 0, Wolves 0 currently, if you're interested. Crystal Palace 0, Fulham 0. I'm still buzzing off that goal though. The move for Erling Haaland. What a move that was. Nunes stepping over the ball like that, but not just stepping over and looking back and admiring the work that he's done. He stepped over it and kept running, knowing full well that Foden's going to receive that, and I'm in. And Foden found him beautifully. Brilliant play. Walker down the right wing. Back to Foden. Rodri's giving it away really simply, but diving header from Gibbs White. Tries to send Awani through, but Ruben Diaz steps in and intercepts the diving header. Rodri with a little bit of an astray pass there. Marie in the chat, good to see you. Come on, City. Come on, City, she says. Apparently Southgate is in attendance. He is, Vicente. Or Vincent. Or Vicente? Vicente, sorry. He is. Yeah, he absolutely is. He's in the stands, probably watching how central Phil Foden is playing. But, you know, it's a formation that's forced him central. I do think he starts the game out wide, but Kyle Walker takes up his place, and it's an inverted winger. That's what it is. It's an inverted winger. And we haven't heard anyone talk about that yet. You know, inverted wingers. It's a matter of time before the experts start saying, I think it's an inverted winger. It took me a couple of games to understand what he was doing, in fairness, but it's clearly an inverted winger, and we're not doing an inverted fullback, and it's made way, and it's made Kyle Walker a very happy man, because not only is he in the starting 11, but he's got a new role where he can really express himself, go forward a little bit more. Rodri in the middle of the park, picking up the ball nicely. Nunes, twisting, turning, turns, sprints at his man, into Doku. Doku down the left wing, going up against Aina. Beats him. Cross was blocked by Serge Aurier. I'm trying to figure out what Forest are doing, because I had Aina down, what have I put him in? Defensive midfielder with Sangare in defensive midfielder, and Aurier is the right wing back. That's not the case at all. Aina's right wing back, and Serge Aurier is playing almost right of the 3 centre-backs, and I think Sangare and Mangala are the 2 in defensive midfield, so completely ignore my Forest starting 11 if you have any interest in that whatsoever. But it's wrong. My prediction was wrong. When do you think we should bring Calvin on, says United Winners. United Winners asking that question, I feel like a bit of bait there. Alvarez bursting in. Good save from... Well, it's not a good save. Straight down his throat, in fairness. But I thought that was in for some reason. He hit that really well. Alvarez finding a bit of space, bursting into it. Foden finding him really well. I thought that was destined for goal. But Alvarez straight down the throat of Turner. Philip Espinoza, let's go City. We're watching from Denver. Good to see you, mate. All the way from Denver. When do you think we're bringing Calvin on? I'll answer your question, mate. Probably in the second half, if the game's 3 or 4-0. 20 minutes to go, maybe. You know, the game needs to be done and dusted to be bringing Calvin on. I mean, I'll give you the bench as well, because we haven't really got much creativity once again. The bench is Phillips, Ake, Grealish is the only one that you think, yeah, if we were struggling, you're losing the game, for example, Grealish is the only one you'd immediately, your eyes would fixate on and go, right, get Grealish on. Ortega, Gomez, Carson, Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis. So we've only got 8 once again, highlighting our, I say injury problems. It's not a crisis because we're winning the game 2-0. We've won every Premier League game so far. Injury crisis is when you're losing the games. We're full of injuries, but yet we're winning them all. People talk about our depth. We don't have depth. We have quality. Big, big difference. And this is highlighted with the bench. Again, only 8 compared to Forest's 9 on the bench. 2 of them are goalkeepers. 3 of them are I'd say Gomez isn't a kid anymore, but 3 of them are of that, inexperienced players. Everywhere else we've got Phillips, Ake and Grealish. They're the only 3 that are reliable. You know what you get when you bring them on. Reliable, experienced heads. Above the age of 22, put it that way. Phillips, Ake and Grealish. Ortega and Carson, 2 goalkeepers, and the other 3 are youngsters, Gomez, Oscar Bob and Rico Lewis. So our starting 11 is very it's very relied upon at the minute, isn't it? Corner, City, whipped in, back post, picked up by Turner. Long ball all the way to, who was that, Awani? Nunes stepping in. Was it Tavares trying to step forward there for Nottingham Forest, offering a counter-attack that Nunes mops up pretty well? United winners. Are you a City fan, mate? I need to find that out. Coach Emilio Lawrence is like a faster Palmer, but right-footed. Would you something agree? I'm not sure what you... I can't see your actual question. There's a little heart in the way of the question. Edison coming out and clearing it. Sweeper keeper from Edison there. 28 minutes in, 2-0. I was quite confident at 2-0, saying that this game is done and dusted. But Forest have presented a little bit of a threat since then. Here they come again. Gibbs-White coming forward, sprinting, finding space as well. Kyle Walker having to step out to Tavares. Cross from Tavares, diving header from Diaz, missed. It was Gvardiol, actually, sorry. Aina trying to pick up the cross that does that. Back to Serge Aurier. Forest mounting a bit of pressure here. Gibbs-White tucks it in. Kyle Walker with a nice header trying to clear it. Not cleared entirely though. City look to have some good shape here though. Tavares. Good bit of play from Forest. 89% for City. Possession for City, says James, little signpost. It's pure domination, but I think that's creeping down right now because Forest are knocking it about quite nicely. Gibbs-White. Rodri intercepts. Alvarez nearly gives it away, but Haaland trying to bring it forward. Foden trying to get involved. Help Erling Haaland. But he keeps the ball really well. Foden, Rodri knocking it between them. Half an hour nearly gone. Little glimpses of Forest, but not really anything to worry about so far. What's your opinion on Dzeko? Because my dad was his agent while he was at City. Plus, he was part of the City staff at 2010 to about 2015. Who was your dad, mate? No way. I'm a big fan of Dzeko. I love Dzeko. Alvarez bringing it forward. Lovely ball to Doku. Through the channel. Doku down to the byline. Tucks onto his right foot. Doku into Alvarez. Alvarez. Oh, good block from Willy Bolly. Was it Willy Bolly? It was Willy Bolly. Alvarez. Lovely play from Alvarez. Sending Doku through. Doku tucks into his right foot. Nice little pass. Inside ball into Alvarez. And a good bit of last-ditch defending from Bolly to block the shot there. What was almost definitely going to be 3-0. Yeah, I was a big fan of Dzeko. I think he split opinions at City, but I was a big fan of Dzeko. I think he was underrated. I think he did a lot of the ugly work, the dirty work that a lot of strikers don't want to do. You know, not necessarily closing down, but it's corner to City. Alvarez on it. Whips it in. Cleared. Or not cleared. Rodri, edge of the area. Nunes. Dinks it back post. Haaland, stooping header, but couldn't get on the end of it. Free kick given. Haaland was a bit too physical there. And Dzeko will always be remembered for that. Well, that's the thing. He should be remembered more so, because without Dzeko, there's no Aguero moment, you know. Without that equaliser, in what was it, the 89th, 90th minute, he saved us. He saved us. There's so many little moments in history that go under the radar, like Paul Dickoff's goal in 1999. People often forget Kevin Horlock's equaliser. Those type of moments. That was the equivalent. Kevin Horlock's equaliser was the same. Not equaliser. It was that was to pull one back. Kevin Horlock to pull one back was the same as Dzeko's equaliser. goal that went under the radar, but without it, there was no special moment. Gvardiol bombing forward here with Doku overlapped, overran it a bit there. Haaland wanted a piggyback ride, said Jeff. He did. Do I find Doku is doing a better job than Jack? He's doing a very different job than Jack. Very different. It depends what job you want, you know. Do you want someone who's going to drive at your fullback and beat them and try and create something? But with that comes risk. He's going to give the ball away a lot more than Jack does. Definitely. He's going to show susceptibility in his game to, you know, possession-based football. There you go. Doku's just giving it away. And that was nothing to do with trying to beat his man. That was just a poor pass from Jeremy Doku. But Jack Grealish offers possession football and an ability to keep the ball in the final third. When the defence is set up like this, I prefer a player like Doku, in truth. When it's so deep, you know, it's hard to break them down. We know we've got the ball. Even with or without Jack Grealish, we'll probably be keeping the ball. So there are times when it's like, just bring on a player that can burst past their fullback and create problems. It's not really picking a lock, it's just kicking the door in, you know. You want that from a player sometimes, and Doku definitely offers that. But there will be games, I think in the Champions League in particular, where Jack Grealish will play ahead of Doku. Remember his 4 goals against Spuds? I do, mate. I do. What a performance that was. His 4th goal as well was just ridiculous. Whipping it left-footed. His weaker foot right into the top corner. His first goal. This is Dzeko he's talking about, by the way. Edin Dzeko. And his header as well, beating Brad Friedel. Tavares is down, injured. Bit of time to go over and have a bit of a team talk. Tavares went for the quick free kick there, and he's immediately gone down holding his groin. He's coming off. He's coming off by the look of that. The way he stopped his run. Pretty sure he's coming off. What do you think? Who was it who asked the question? It was Class Charles Harris. What do you think regarding Doku versus Jack Grealish? And what does the chat think? Because I think it's going to split opinions. I think there are some genuine, real Jack Grealish fans in here. I'm torn. I know Buggan's somewhere in here. He's going to be coming out of the woodwork in a minute, giving it large about Jack Grealish. But no, I think it's good that we've got both of them, you know. I don't think we should be too worried, and we should rely on Pep and have faith in Pep's decision to play one or the other, depending on the opposition that we're going up against. But Nuno Tavares is he's not looking well. He's coming off the pitch by the looks of this. Hopefully so, James. Thinks Forest will be knackered by half-time. There he is, the man of the topic we're talking about, Jack Grealish, on the bench. I am glad he's back, though, and I'm glad Bernardo Silva, even more important, to be honest, than Jack Grealish, Bernardo Silva. The fact that his injury doesn't sound as bad as first feared. I'm glad about that. Foden in that more traditional winger role right now. He's almost playing right back. Kyle Walker's ahead of him, and there goes Foden tucking inside. It's interesting to watch Foden's movement. I think if you asked Foden what he would like to do on a football pitch, he'd like to be in that number 10 role and being a free spirit where he can just roam where he wants, do what he wants. But this is, albeit central, it's quite restrictive in his positioning. He's got to stay right wing when Kyle Walker's defending and get out of the way and tuck inside. So he's got to have some serious positional awareness, and it requires a level of maturity that I think Pep's doubted about Phil Foden. But with his age comes maturity, and now Phil Foden's showing he can listen to the instructions and he can position himself exactly where Pep wants him to. I mean, if he doesn't, he's coming off the pitch, isn't he? Let's be honest. He's not playing if he can't do it. So he clearly can. Walker. Back to Akanji. Yeah, if you could drop a like on the stream, that would be hugely appreciated. 82 watching the stream right now. 54 of you dropped a like. Thank you for those that have. If you haven't, if you could, it would be a big, big help. Thank you. Diaz. Out to Gvardiol. Ooh, sloppy ball. Anthony Taylor getting in the way. Nunes gives away a free kick. A good one to give away, in truth, because Forest were going to counter then. Bit of a sloppy ball from Gvardiol there. Have we got any FIFA fans? Or not even FIFA anymore, is it? Have we got any FC24 fans in the chat? Because I am thinking of starting a different style of video on this channel. Just once a week. It won't become a FIFA channel. It's definitely going to be a Manchester City channel first and foremost. But I'm tempted to do a just for a laugh, because I'm a big gamer. For those who are wondering, once a week, like a preview, play a game against. So, for example, Friday night, the night before Forest, or Friday afternoon before Forest, I would do City versus Forest. A decent game. Set the teams up how I think they'll set up, and play the game and do a preview of the game. But me playing it, and I can get wild with FIFA. I can get pretty wild. So you'll hear a very different style of commentary. A little bit more vulgarities being thrown in there. Like, yeah, fuck it, like, even though it's me who's to blame, I'll be blaming all the players in the game. But yeah, few saying yes to FIFA. I'll give it a whirl. Big M asking what the gaming channel is. I'll give it you one day, mate. I will give it you one day. I do have another channel as well, for those who are wondering, that's nothing to do with City. It's a gaming channel that I started last year. This year's the real commitment to typical City. But I do have another game. I will give it you, mate, one day. I don't know why I'm keeping it separate. Just for now, I will. But yeah, soon. Forest knocking the ball around at the back. Risky play from Forest, and they're being pressured into... They've done really well, though, in fairness to them. Keeping the ball. I'm also looking at getting guests on the channel as well, for anyone who's into that sort of thing, having a bit more of a conversation rather than... Hang on a minute. Doku brought down aggressively after a nice ball. Free kick, short. Yeah, he's giving it. Thought Anthony Taylor wasn't giving it then. Forest's swarm Anthony Taylor, but Doku's been clattered by Serge Aurier. Probably in shooting distance. Yeah, probably. That's a foul. That's a yellow as well. It's not just a foul, that's a yellow. Haaland with a nice ball into Doku. Doku tries to spin his man. Serge Aurier comes right through the back of him. Shooting distance as well. But yeah, I'm thinking about getting some guests onto the channel. Talk a few different subjects. Maybe involve a few rival fans, things like that. I have spoke to Big Steve, by the way. I've just not gotten around to actually arranging anything. We have messaged each other. For anyone who's a fan of Big Steve, I don't know anyone who isn't a big fan of Big Steve. I'm a fan of Big Steve. I've spoke to him a while back, but I know he's doing a lot of work with City right now, so I am waiting to... I'm just sorting a bit of housekeeping first, to sort myself out first. But I'll try and get Big Steve on for a chat, if you're interested. Free kick to City. Alvarez over it. This is definitely going to be a shot, I'd imagine. Alvarez. Shot. Oh, he's deflected for a corner. Get Jeff on as your guest. Yeah. Gets with the crystal ball. We need to get you with some like dark magical, like those tents where you go to get your future predicted by some crazy woman with like one eye looking that way and one eye looking that way and a crystal ball in front of you, and she predicts. We need to get Jeff with like the background like that. Short corner. Alvarez and Foden trying to keep the ball, doing well. Well, eventually it goes all the way back to Nunes. Salzburg 49ers, good to see you in the chat, mate. Dude, love what you're doing. Hard work is paying off. Let's go City. Thanks, mate. Appreciate that. Big Steve's the GOAT. Always spits facts as opposition fans. You two are the GOATs of City. Thanks very much, Big M. Appreciate that. Yeah, I'd like to do some more work with Big Steve because, like you said, having watched the guy numerous times, I've never met him. I've never met the guy. I've spoke to him on Instagram. He was aware of me, apparently. And he actually told me that he had intentions of messaging me, but he's a busy guy, apparently. I know he's got another few businesses on the go. I've got a business on the go outside of this as well, so I understand life isn't as simple as just, calling someone and meeting up as easy as that. We're all quite busy. But hopefully I can get something done with Big Steve. I'd love to talk to him, meet up with the guy, and hopefully make some entertaining content for you guys, most importantly. JSGC seems like a nice kid too. Positive vibes crew, says Jeff. Yeah, he seems like a good guy. I haven't spoke to JSGC. Seems like an alright guy. He's good on his transfers, isn't he? Awani. Out. Oh, he's offside. Bit sloppy from Forest there, getting caught offside. Potential counter-attack for them. Nearly second half. That's flown by that, hasn't it? Pretty boring games, to be honest, outside of this game. With Crystal Palace and Fulham and Luton Wolves, 0-0 in both those games. Forest have got Hudson-Odoi on the bench, of course, who could genuinely pose a threat. Scored an absolute worldie against Burnley last week. Was a really good finish, really good. I was surprised. I put him in my predicted starting 11 for Forest because I do feel it's a bit harsh to play as well as he did and then not play the next week. But I imagine Steve Cooper's gone to him and said, "Mate, we're playing City. We can't have you in the team. It's just you're too much of a luxury." I imagine that's the conversation that's happened, but it's a tough pill, hard pill to swallow for Hudson-Odoi after his performance against Burnley. But he's on the bench. Update on my lad and his game? I don't know, mate. I don't know. No news yet. She knows I'm streaming, so I don't think she'll actually message me anymore. But I've got a little one downstairs as well, who that's my missus, Charlotte's mum, is looking after very kindly. She's a Burnley fan. So lots of Northwest people in this house right now. Do we back-to-back in the Champions League, says Mustafa. I think we can. I'd prefer a Premier League 4-peat than a Champions League back-to-back. If I had to pick one, I'd like both. I'd like a Premier League and Champions League double. Or treble again. That would be ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous, another treble. I can't see that happening. If it does, it'll never be repeated. Never be repeated. Not in our lifetimes, and that's a phrase that has come back to bite Fergie in the arse, that, didn't it? That phrase. Not in my lifetime, but I genuinely believe back-to-back trebles, yeah, not in my lifetime, and I genuinely believe that. A nasty tackle gone in on Rodri there. Yellow card immediately out for Sangare. Let's have another look at this. He's caught his toe. It's not that bad. It's probably a yellow. I think he's caught Rodri's toe there. Yeah, I agree, Mark. I am more of a Premier League's your bread and butter. The most important thing of any season is to win the league. And I think that's a stepping stone, isn't it? Because having said that, do you remember when Chelsea won the Champions League with, not against us, with that Didier Drogba header equalising against Bayern Munich in Munich? They finished 6th that season in the Premier League. I personally believe that. I think you take your league form into your cup form. You can. It's hard to just switch it on. Form isn't a light switch. You can't just turn it on and off. And if your league form's good, you tend to take that feeling into your cup games, in particular in the Champions League. Whereas Chelsea were just abysmal in the league, yet they could just turn it on in the Champions League. But that smells of something wrong in the dressing room. If you're able to do that, if you're able to play so poorly in one tournament and play so well in another, that smells of a team that's not quite right. Doku with a lovely little nutmegs there on Serge Aurier. Trying to bring it forward. He's giving it away though. Forest trying to bring it forward. 5 minutes of added time, by the way, so plenty of time. Here come Forest. Akanji stepping across, who's been brilliant so far. Everything coming Akanji's way, he's dealt with really well. Same for Diaz. Walker's looked okay. One sloppy pass from Kyle Walker. Good to see you, Jan. The Premier League is harder to win than the Champions League. Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? Because it's the Champions League has an element of luck about it. It's that potluck nature, and anything can happen in 90 minutes. Knockout format is always difficult to predict. Long throw for Forest here into the City box, but cleared by Ruben Diaz. But yeah, it's the knockout format. You can't predict it. Whereas 38 games, you get found out eventually. If you're a poor side and you're just getting away with it and you're turning up for some games, not turning up for other games, you get found out. 38 games will expose you. And that exposed Arsenal last season because they were, for the majority of the season, on paper and even possibly on the pitch, they looked like the better side. But there was something in the air with Arsenal when they were playing in the second half of the season, post-World Cup. There was something about the way they started to play and the emotional levels they showed when they won games, last-minute winners, going 1-0 down too often and having to come back. And when they did come back, you could sense the amount of relief from Arsenal when they were going mental. Mikel Arteta's emotions on the touchline were there for all to see. Yet City were just dominating games, but they weren't as extravagantly winning them. They weren't so dominant in the scoreline, but on the sense of the way the game played, they were dominant, and you could just sense this level of control and belief about City. And when they won games, it was shaking hands at the end of the game, like, well done, game won, next game please. Whereas Arsenal, I felt like it was going to happen. Anyway, Forest are in here. Awoni, Diaz dealing with it brilliantly. Really good one-on-one play, because there was a chance for Forest there. Awoni was in one-on-one with Diaz, being sent through. Diaz shepherded Awoni really well there. Doku trying to bring... Yeah, he's brought down another yellow card, surely, for that. 5 minutes of injury time has gone. Surely that's a yellow card there, referee. It's Montiel's come on, of course, for Forest, who got destroyed against Burnley. And there he is, getting destroyed by Doku. Half-time, not second half. Half-time. Pretty dominant performance, I'd say. Pretty one-sided. Let me just sort that clock out for you. I don't know why it's saying... (2-0) City. I'm quite pleased with that performance. I thought it was going to become 3 or 4. Forest showed glimpses of quality going forward. Here and there, chances getting to the final third, but there wasn't enough men in the final third for Forest to genuinely pose a threat. And anything that did look threatening, Diaz and Akanji dealt with it really, really well. Jonny, can you do something with LB? I thought you meant left back, like our left backs. Yeah, potentially. Yeah, I know LB. Yeah, he's obviously, like, I don't know what went on with regards to City Extra, leaving City Extra. I understand that he's left for his own personal reasons. I hope he's doing all right. But yeah, there's only a few. I like to watch Big Steve. I do like watching Big Steve. City Extra every now and again, but I've only got so much time on my hands to watch every City content creator out there. And I'm aware of them, obviously, but I don't watch them religiously or anything. I'm sure some of you guys do. But yeah, potentially. Every time I hear LB talk, I like what he has to say. He talks a lot of sense. I've disagreed with him a few times, and I've agreed with him a few times, so that might make for some interesting conversations. But yeah, no, he's good. Next year's Champions League is the new format of the Super League. It's wrong, says Jan. I'm old-fashioned. Only the champions of each league should be included in the Champions League knockout format, just like the FA Cup. I understand what you're saying, Jan. I somewhat agree with you. I think it's just a case of money, isn't it? I think we can't ignore the money involved anymore, and you reduce the amount of teams involved, you reduce the amount of fans that watch, and therefore you reduce the amount of eyes watching the games. That's what it's all about at the end of the day. And eyes watching the games equates to money. More teams, more eyes, more money. It is as simple as that. And if you win it, you get more money. So we benefit from more teams being involved in the tournament, because if you go and win it, the prize pot that's on offer is huge. Jaden J saying they're playing Doku dirty, mate. Absolutely, that's a good point. They've fouled him 4 or 5 times now. Some pretty brutal tackles on him. Keep him injury free. City have to pull their socks up in the second half to get 6 goals, says James. Good first half. Need to keep the concentration for the second half, says Jack. Come on, City. So far, we've been decent, says Mudau. I agree. But you're wanting to bring the subs on at this point. Because we've got Newcastle midweek, haven't we? So we've got to have a little bit of an eye on that with the League Cup coming up. And very few options to rotate in terms of starting 11. I mean, what's he going to do? I have a funny feeling Pep's going to write off the League Cup this season. In terms of, I say write it off, not totally disrespectfully. And when I say write off, I mean he's going to play a somewhat weakened team, an 80%, 70% team. So, for example, the team that played against Red Star was a little bit weaker than this team because of the opposition. Normally in the Champions League, you wouldn't see Sergio Gomez starting left back, for example. Against Newcastle, I imagine he might do that. But just looking at the highlights here, that first goal was the touch from Kyle Walker. Absolutely fantastic. Kyle Walker with all the space in the world. And that's Phil Foden's job. They've just highlighted it there. Phil Foden tucked inside, which gave Kyle Walker so much space to just burst into on the overlap around Phil Foden. And then Kyle Walker's touch. The amount of times I've watched, it gets better every time I watch that goal. It really does. Here comes the second goal. Nunes stepping over it inside. It's so good. So good. What a goal that was. Such a delightful goal. I don't know if you're watching the highlights with me, but I can't get enough of these 2 goals. So good. Team goals. Don't get me wrong, I love an absolute worldie out of nothing, a screamer from outside the box. I love it. But team goals, there's just something about it, isn't there? And to see Erling Haaland on the end of the move and his little celebration, he's going wild. Pep Guardiola headed the ball with Erling Haaland there. Feel we'll get at least 2 goals in the second half, says Andy. I think you might be right, mate. D Harsh, poor game, mate. After the second goal, City is shut down. Poor's a harsh word. I think poor is a very harsh word. We are 2-0 up. I take your point that it's not quite been as good since the second goal. But, anything that's come their way, Forest have to come out now. So we had to expect a different style of play, a different feel to the game, considering Forest aren't going to protect a 2-0 deficit, are they? They're going to have to come out 1-0. They'll probably keep it as the same and hope for a counter-attacking opportunity, because that's what's so good about City. How many teams can go 1-0 up and yet the opposition still play defensively even though they're losing the game? That's Manchester City for you. 2-0, they have to come out. You can't protect a 2-0 deficit. So Forest come out, and as a result, they haven't created chances, but they've created momentum. They've created opportunities to get into the final third, And they've done that, but everything that's come our way, Diaz and Akanji has stepped forward and done really well. So I disagree with the word poor, but I get your point that it's not been the same feel to the game since 2-0. Can't play like this against top 6, says D Harsh. I think you're being a bit harsh, mate. Again, I know what you're trying to say there, but I don't think we will play like this against top 6. I don't think it will be the same team against top 6. And there is a different mentality to the game, isn't there? You have an air of caution about your play. If you go up against Arsenal, Liverpool, nearly said United then, don't know why. But really, your Liverpools and your Arsenals and your Spurs. Oh, bloody hell, just looking at the highlights from Luton Wolves there. That's a red card all day long, isn't it? I think he got one as well. Must have done. Yeah, anyway, just seeing a Wolves player just stood someone in the back, Luton player in the back. But, yeah, I know what you mean about playing against the top 6, but I do think you're being harsh. Hence your name, D Harsh. Maybe that's in your nature to be harsh. Big M. We have the result and the clean sheet. Perfect so far. Danny W. turned into Goldbridge Watchalong. He's avoiding talking about us to the point he's talking about championship games. LOL. What, me? Am I talking about championship games? Goldbridge's Watchalongs, yeah. Look at Bayern. They were winning 5-0 against relegating teams. Yeah. They're winning 5-0. The game's not over, though, mate. You know, we've still got plenty of... There's a second half to play. You know, I think it's like there's someone who highlighted Forest will get tired. And I think they will. I think they will get tired and we'll probably expose them. But I'm worried that City fans think we should win every game 5-0 because we are so dominant in the games. And I felt like that against Red Star. Against Sheffield United, we should have taken our chances. Against West Ham, I think 3-1 flattered them in the end. That could have been 5-1, but we can't look too much at the fact that it's just 2-0 right now, because this, you know, chances is a point. I'd like to see if we go into the second half. I'd like to know, has anyone got the stats for, I'll get them up myself, for how many shots we've actually had in this half, for example. Will be interesting because I'm not convinced we've created as many chances as we should have done. There you go, yeah. We haven't. 6 shots on target. Sorry, 6 shots in total. 4 shots on target. We're winning 2-0. We're back to that Fulham performance. By these stats so far, we had 7 shots on goal against Fulham. 5 of them were on target, and we won 5-0. Here we are with 6 shots, 4 on target, and we're winning 2-0. Against Sheffield United and West Ham and Red Star, we were getting into the 30s. 29 against West Ham, but pretty much 30. And total chance creation in abundance. But we just weren't clinical enough. Haaland's had 1 chance today and he's taken it. You know, it's... Like I say, I said at the start of the stream, one of these days we'll have a performance like Sheffield United and West Ham where we create all the chances and the clinicalness of Erling Haaland will also, and they'll sink. And someone will get a beating. It could well be today. Could well be today. But Blues, you're going to have to bear with me. I did it last time as well. I'm bursting for a pee. I've been drinking water too much and I'm bursting for a pee. I will be back as quick as I can. Don't go anywhere. Oof, apologies for that. Vinny, well, typical City is talking about City giving wonderful insights and analysis. Thank you very much. Jeff's in charge while Johnny's away. Yeah, sorry about that. Trying to avoid it. You know, I go to the toilet like 3 times before a stream, but no, I always spend the second half needing a pee so badly and it distracts me, so I had to go. Sorry. I've got the bladder of a 4-year-old, honestly. Agent company will do a job on United tonight. Oh, mate, imagine. They're away, aren't they, United, as well? They're in turmoil really badly at the minute. That club is in an absolute state. How many times have we heard about leaks? You know, it is embarrassing. It really is. And that term gets thrown around as an insult, but it really is. It genuinely is embarrassing. If I was a United fan, I'd be genuinely humiliated. And I know what you're saying there, Mark Harris. Eric 10 9 8 7 6 5 4. I tried to. It took a while for me to figure it out. Eric 10 9 8 7 6 5 4 3 2 1. Boom, sacked by January. I think there is possibly. I believe what I'm about to say, less so now. But last season, I saw glimpses of Erik ten Hag in his man management ability. Tactics, questionable. Man management, I thought there was okay because there was that moment where United lost to Brentford away. Was it 4-0, 4-1, 4-0? Early on in the season of last season. And he sent them all, he called them into training for running drills. And because Brentford outran them throughout the game, like 3 or 4 kilometres worth of distance for the whole team versus United's team, which is an indication of mental attitude and how much you're prepared to work for the team. Erik ten Hag brings them in to do the running drills, but he's there with them. I think that was a smart move, and I think that was an indication, and apparently the United players at the time saw that as like a decent move from Erik ten Hag. But since then, it's like, okay, man management is one thing. Tactics is a totally different aspect of the game because there are plenty of managers out there that can do one but not the other. You know, tactically, I think Mancini was a fantastic manager. Tactically, man management, I don't think he was as good. He was a bit hot-headed and like he was a bit brutal with some players and a bit lenient on other players. Mario Balotelli, for example. Like fucking Mario Balotelli was off his tits. Absolutely mental. But Mancini was like, no problem, no problem. And then eventually it came back to bite Mancini because they're squaring up to each other and having a fist fight in training. So, you need to have both. And I think that's where Pep is just fantastic. His man management's spot on. His tactics are definitely stronger than his man management. But still, and I think his man management is good. Look at Cancelo and even going back to Eto'o, Ibrahimovic, players that Pep's had to look after in the past, and he's just been cutthroat. Like, get out. I'm not interested in you. That's good man management, and it's not always have to be an arm round the shoulder. It's just a case you are a bad apple. Get out of the club. And I think that's good. That's a strong-willed mentality, and it's... I know you won't like to hear it, but that's what Fergie does. That's what Fergie did, rather. There was no nonsense with Fergie. Second half's about to get underway, by the way. Teams are all out. Gibbs White looking to get the game back underway. What are your predictions for the second half? And we're off. Oh, Rodri getting caught on the ball by Gibbs White. Oh, Rodri squaring up. Squaring up. All right, calm down, Rodri. Oh, what was that? Gibbs White's just dropped. Red card? For what? Rodri's been sent off. And it's serious foul play, which is 3 games. What's he thinking? If he's headbutted him, I need to see this back here, but it was a case of whoever dropped got the other one sent off, and Gibbs-White drops first. We need to have a look at this. Rodri's refusing to go off the pitch at the minute, but we're going to get VAR involved here, surely. Because I don't think that... I didn't see a genuine connection with that headbutt there. Headbutt. What the fuck start of a Premier League second half was that? There we go. He pushes him. Gibbs-White squares up. Rodri squares up. Head to head. Oh, and he put his left hand on his neck. You can't... Oh, let's have another look. We need to see this properly. Because if he's connected with his neck, he's pushed him in the neck, and then he's pushed him again. That's not a red, though. I'm not convinced that's a red. I need to see more angles, in truth. Rodri's still on the pitch, but yeah, Gibbs-White's doing that with his neck. Right, you can forget your 5 or 6-0 now. This is going to be a case of maybe 3. Let's get hope for a third goal. But City with 10 men doesn't always worry me. VAR are looking at this. No. I've just seen a proper check at that. No, get VAR. No. He went down like a sack of shit. He went down so late then. Not a chance. Anthony Taylor couldn't wait to get that red card out then. He pushed him like that, and 2 hands went on his neck. Okay, so I agree with the fact that if he went down normally then he'd go down. But the thing is, he went down like 3 seconds later. Yeah, he connected with his neck, but it's the delayed reaction. I've got a feeling this is going to stand, though, because of the fact that that he did that and he connects with his neck. But then Gibbs-White stands there going like that, and then he goes, oh yeah, light bulb moment. Now I'll go down. Yeah, he's walked. He's gone. That's that. Rodri, 3 games. Shit. Fucking hell. What? Let's have a look. What we now with that? That's stupid from Rodri. Shouldn't have bitten. First minute of the second half, Rodri. What are you thinking, mate? What are you thinking there? Right, good. We've got the League Cup. That's one of the games he's going to be missing. So that's 1 game missing. Then the Wolves game. He's out for Arsenal. Fucking hell. Away at Arsenal. No Rodri. Fucking hell, Rodri. What have you done, mate? This has flipped the whole Premier League season on its head right now, this is, because going away to Arsenal without Rodri and the lack of a player behind him, who are we going to play in now? You're not playing Calvin Phillips in there, are you? Away at Arsenal. What's he done there? Long throw in. 10 men City versus 11 men Forest. It's only 2-0. Now it's a case of just play sensible. Sensible football now. Cleared by Haaland. Foden trying to bring it forward. And Gibbs-White got a yellow in that incident, by the way. But it's a frustrating red card because Gibbs-White's won the red card there. He hasn't... It's not like a moment where that you would put you on the floor, but he felt the thumb and the fingers on the neck. He felt it, and then 3 seconds later, he goes down. That's what's annoyed me. It's the delayed reaction, which makes you know he didn't go down genuinely, but that's devastating. That's devastating. It will be a 3-game ban. Anyway, Owoni, edge of the area. Gibbs-White, deflected. Corner ball to Forest. Forest looking like they believe. And why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? We're in a game now. Why have we allowed this? Rodri, mate. Stupidity from Rodri. Something you don't really see from him. He's a hot-headed. I know he's got a bit of a temperament, but like, I've never seen that level of stupidity from him. Who's coming on here? Calvin Phillips looks like he's coming on. Someone who's sarcastically asking me when you're expecting Phillips on. Now is your answer. You might not have even been asking me sarcastically, but your answer is now. Short corner. 2-on-1. Where are we, Blues? Edge of the area. Over the bar. Mangala sweeps it over the bar. Stones and Kovacic will need to fill in the gap, says Jan. I say Stones. If he's back for Arsenal, that's huge. That's huge. Good point, Jan. You're hoping that he's fit. Doku's the man coming off. Feel for Doku. I feel very sorry for him because it's not his fault he's being brought off. It's Rodri's fault. We all love Rodri, but we can't pretend he wasn't being fucking stupid in that moment. Really daft moment, that. What's he doing? Probably said something to him, then reacted, says Rendrex Travels. Well, I don't care, mate. Like, you know, that's... I felt like... I don't even think he did. I feel like he was on his back. Just irritating him. I think there was probably, like, some aggressive fingernails digging into him, something shite like that. But still, you're 2-0 up. You turn round in that situation. You turn round and you smile. You just go like someone trying to wind you up. You turn round and you just give it that. You just do that. I'm 2-0 up, mate. Best defensive midfielder in the world. Turn round, smile, give it a thumbs up. We'll go toe-to-toe. At some point in the game, you'll get to smash him. You'll go through him. You'll get a 50-50 opportunity and you'll get to nail him later in the game. You don't need to square up to him in that particular moment and grab him by the throat. Really daft. Really daft. I'm frustrated. Phillips is on the pitch. Doku's off. Come on, Calvin Phillips. You're in a game now, mate. I still think we can go and win this game 3-0. I genuinely believe City with 10 men, there's very little that changes. Haaland, using his strength brilliantly, brings in Alvarez. Alvarez looking to... he's getting outnumbered there. As you're going to hear that a lot, we are going to get outnumbered. Awani is going to be a threat now for the long ball. We just sacrificed our left winger, basically, so really you're not going to see the ball coming down the left-hand side of the pitch, as obvious a statement as that is. That's going to be the way of the games. Foden's going to be... I think Foden now is probably... Oh, wait a minute, he's playing on the left himself. Just trying to figure out what the formation here is. I think Walker's now going to play as a traditional right-back, looking at this. Not coming forward as much. Foden's almost on the right now. So we've got a 4-2-2-1 now. It's almost looking like a box right now of Calvin Phillips and Núñez sitting in front of a flat back four of Kyle Walker, Akanji Diaz and Gvardiol. In front of Calvin Phillips and Núñez, we've got Alvarez on the right of the corner of the box and Foden on the left of the corner of the box and Haaland up top. So we've got no width, basically, anymore. Zero width, which plays into Forest's hands because they defend narrowly anyway. And Forest have got all the ball right now as well. We're in a game here. We're in a big game. And here they come. Left. Oh, it's corner ball. Akanji stepping across, preventing the cross. Corner ball. I can't believe he's out for Arsenal. I can't believe it. There's no point appealing that either. He's out. 3 games. I said it that there's what was the 3 players that I think we would miss the most would be Rodri and Alvarez right now. Are definite. Is players that we can't afford to lose. And Rodri's now gone. And Edison was the other one. Corner whipped in. Cleared. Just about. Montiel knocking it back to Serge Aurier. Switches it. City pinned back right now. It's going to make for a crap second half, this is. I need to get over it, but Rodri, what have you done to us there, mate? What have you done? Gibbs White trying to keep it in. He prevents it from a corner. Throwing right in the corner flag. Come on, City, says Mark. Wolves have just scored with 10 men, apparently. So can we. Absolutely. We did. We went down to 10 men and 1-0 down against Fulham last season, thanks to João Cancelo's moment of madness, bringing down, I can't remember who it was, Harry Wilson, I think, of Fulham. Went down to 10 men, Cancelo sent off. We equalised straight away at the start of the second half, and then an Erling Haaland 94th, 95th minute penalty won us the game. So we can even win games from being 1-0 down with 10 men. So 2-0 up, we've got that cushion. You just can't allow this to become 2-1 at any moment in the next 20 minutes. You get to the 80th minute at 2-0. We should keep it and manage it. Nathan Ake is coming onto the pitch for Julian Alvarez. So men are being sacrificed. Men who you want to really see flourish in this type of game, get the goals and assists potentially up. Not going to be today. I think there's going to be a few daggers thrown at Rodri in the dressing room. And I imagine I like to think Rodri will be a, sorry guys. I don't think he'll be a, I shouldn't have been a red. I think he'll go, sorry. That's my bad. Shouldn't have reacted. Moment of stupidity. Thank you, team, for still going and maintaining the 3 points. Hopefully we can do that. Ryan in the chat. Don't worry about Arsenal. Sit someone in with Phillips and let Phillips man mark Odegaard. Phillips just needs a game plan for the whole game and he will be fine. Yeah, man marking someone yeah. I remember Ji-sung Park man marking Lionel Messi in the Champions League final. Whenever I think of man marking, that's the performance that springs to mind. Obviously, it's Lionel Messi, but Odegaard is not Lionel Messi. But at the end of the day, man marking is an easy job until it's not. You know what I mean? It just takes 1 second, lapse in concentration. It's very easy. You just man marking. I know, he's in here. 1-on-1 with Edison, and he's... What the fuck was that? He's just booted it over the bar. Squaring up with Edison. What are you doing, Edison? What are you doing? What are you doing, Edison? You get another man sent off. A yellow card each for Awani and Edison. Forehead to forehead, Awani with Edison. You're thinking all it needs is Awani to just do that, squirm a little bit, and then go down. Edison, another red card. What are we thinking? Awani was in, long ball over the top from Willy Bolly. Awani brings it down, looking to dink it over Edison, who comes out off his line. I say dink it, he boots it towards the moon. Awani's now squaring up to Edison because of, I think Edison came out and connected. What a stupid moment from Edison that is. Really. You've just seen your teammate get sent off for being as daft as doing the same sort of behaviour, and you're putting your forehead on someone else. Think about it, man. Think about it. We had 9 men. 3 game ban for Edison and Rodri. Like, what? It's like the worst case scenario for going forward, that is. It's crazy. This is crazy how we've just come out and just lost our heads. City fans singing. Good on them. Trying to get behind the team. Get the spirit back up. Positivity from the team, I think, here, because it seems a bit frustrated. We were 2-0 up, lads. There's nothing to worry about. Just keep your heads. Play the same game. Volatile game, says Rendrex. It really is, mate. Forest, back post. Ake deals with it really well. Sent out for a goal kick. Hudson-Odoi and Anthony Elanga have both come onto the pitch. Forest, Steve Cooper, smelling blood. Bringing on the, well, I say the big guns. For the Forest's big guns, they're not very large guns in the perspective of the Premier League, but in the perspective of their team, they are the big guns. Forest being arseholes, says Timmy. They are, aren't they? Oh, well, so are we, to be honest. We've fallen for it, haven't we? Haaland does tries to lay it off there to Akanji. Akanji's pass was a bit of a wayward one. Here come Forest again. I'm a bit gutted that we have to watch a City defensive performance, but this is a good exercise practice now for Champions League, because I think in the latter stages we're going to go up against a team that will have the ball. Kyle Walker, brilliant. Brilliant. Aina trying to beat Kyle Walker. Not a chance. The point I'm trying to make for the Champions League is we are going to go up against teams where we have to defend. Moments in games like the Bayern Munich game last season springs to mind. At the Allianz Arena in that second half, we were up against it. And our defensive quality shone through, played really well. At the Bernabeu first leg, Real Madrid had moments. There was 10, 15-minute spells in that game where Real Madrid came forward, defensively looked solid. This is good practice for that now, because we are going to be defending in this game more than we would have liked to. But it is a case of learn your shape, learn how to defend against teams that are going to put you up against it. I know it's Forest and the level of opposition is very different, but I mean, in terms of how much you now have to defend, it's a good bit of practice for us. 2-0 down, so we know we have to defend. They're going to come at us, show what we're all about, and we know we can do it. Defensively solid, we are. Let's keep a clean sheet with 10 men will be really good. 45 minutes clean sheet, that's what I want now. Walker, good bit of defending. Forest, bringing it forward. Montiel with the cross. Dangerous. Diaz clears it. Rodders fell for the old trick. It was only the way that they would get back into the game, says Andy Scott. I think you're right, mate. I'm absolutely fuming with Rodri. He's out for the Arsenal and put us under pressure because he couldn't keep his head in the game. Fine him wages now, says Jack. That's a bit harsh, but yeah, I think he's going to get some stern words thrown at him. Corner to Forest. Short one. All the space in the world. Where are we, boys? Montiel tucks it back. Edge of the area. Fires it wide. 62 minutes in. It's fallen apart, this game. Just completely crumbled. When is Stones back, asks Mustafa. I've been asking that for a while. Because if you remember, Juan Malilo said it's a matter of time. He's doing all the right things. It's just round the corner, effectively. He said it's going to be maybe the next game or the game after that. We've played 3 or 4 games since Juan Malilo. And Stones has not even been on the bench once, which makes me think it's a new injury or the injury is worse than first feared, which is a problem. But Jan was the one who highlighted Stones coming in for the Arsenal game. That would make me feel a lot better. But there's no one like Rodri. Do you know what I mean? Rodri is a one-of-a-kind player. And not having him for that game, Arsenal fans must be absolutely buzzing right now. You just hope Spurs go and beat them, don't you? We need a Spurs win tomorrow now because we need that cushion. Arsenal are what, 2 points behind, aren't they? If they would be 5 points behind if they lose to Spurs, but if they beat Spurs, they'd be wait a minute. Yeah, 2 points behind. And therefore, if they beat us, they go ahead of us. So we need that cushion going into this game. So come on, you spuddos. City as a club don't find players. It's left up to the other players to sort him out, says Andy Scott. I agree. Anyway, here comes Foden, bursting through all the space in the world. 2-on-2, Foden and Haaland. Knocks it past Bolly. Foden's in. Back post. Got to get it. Oh, good bit of defending from Montiel. Really good bit of defending. Gets back in time to stop the cross. Foden looking to cut it straight across the 6-yard box to Haaland, who was waiting for a tap-in. Good bit of play from Haaland, who holds up the ball really well, knocks into Foden's path. Foden knocks it past Bolly like he wasn't even there. But then Montiel does a good bit of defensive work to block the cross. Arsenal fans will be unbearable if they beat us. Can't be having any of that. Other than a City win at the Emirates. Totally agree. Arsenal are just intolerable, aren't they? Did you see that? Anyway, I'll tell you in a second. Foden with the corner. Into the box. Cleared. Very easy. Ake's brought down, though. Forest looking for the counter, which is something we need to be very mindful of. I wouldn't even send as many men forward as we just did because Nunes doing really... They're looking at something here, VAR, so I hear. Looking at Ake being brought down in the penalty box. Can I have a look at this? Because I saw Ake was brought down in that Foden corner, but VAR still looking at it. Oh, play on. Never mind. Check complete. Rodri. Rodri. What have you done? Fuck's sake. 1-1 Wolves and Luton. Foden bursting past his player. Over hits it though. Intercepted by Sangare. Mangala rather has intercepted it. Dominguez into Gibbs-White. Out to Aina. Oh no, sorry, it's Hudson-Odoi. Gibbs-White, edge of the area. Their danger men are on, aren't they? Gibbs-White, Hudson-Odoi, and Alanga, Awani. But all 4 of their goal threats are on the pitch right now. Yet they've had one opportunity to speak of, which was ballooned over the bar. Pretty poor from Awani, that finish, but it resulted in Edison being a bit of a madman. Leave it. Edison and Diaz communicating well there. Rodders, you are a plonker, says Mark. Ryan says Phillips can be rough, so take him off his game. Doesn't have to do much, just give him no space. Players are good enough to fill in. I know what you're saying, mate. I wouldn't worry too much about... The thing with missing Rodri is it's both ends of the pitch now, isn't it? It's not just that defensive... that positional awareness in defensive midfield and that ability to nick the ball off them. I know what you're saying, and you're focusing on Odegaard, and rightly so. Odegaard's a genuine threat for Arsenal, isn't he? But without Rodri, we still have a threat going the other way. Don't forget, we are just losing one player that's obviously very pinnacle. He's the nucleus of our midfield. But Nunes, Kovacic, Jan Graham making the point of John Stones. That does make me feel a bit better. I know you're saying Calvin Phillips, and to the point of saying that you want to actually sacrifice his game just to man-mark Odegaard out of the game. But that sacrifices us at the same time, don't forget. That means it makes it, 10v10, effectively, and you're just man-marking a player out of the game. That makes Calvin Phillips have to offer very little going the other way. And what Rodri's doing going the other way now is unmatched, isn't it? It's incredible what he's doing the other way. So, it's just a disaster, really, isn't it? Rodri is a massive, massive loss. We can't paper over those cracks in any other way. Here comes Hudson-Odoi, bringing it forward, beats it past Walker. Bast has to come across. Good bit of play from Calvin Phillips, forcing him wide. Montiel. Hudson-Odoi faced up by Calvin Phillips. Dominguez. Forest showing belief. 70th minute approaches. Knocked in, back post. Over the top. Gibbs couldn't get underneath it. Out for a goal kick. Come on, Calvin, it's your time to shine, says Mustafa. Yeah. Big M. Bernardo, good point. Before the Arsenal game, should be back. Yeah, that makes me feel better as well. Play him defensive midfield. I like that. Because he's done it before. Just a big game to do it in, It's a big, big game. But he can do that role. He can do it. You're almost going too far the other way, though. You need to respect Arsenal's threat, don't you? Will Bernardo have that defensive mindset, that game? I know what you're saying, though. I like, yeah. I know Bernardo can definitely play in defensive midfield, but I'm arguing with myself here in my own mind. It's like, he's the one player we can't really afford to lose, isn't he? Rodri, because there's just no one like him. I'm with Jan. I think John Stones coming back would be the answer. Alanga does Foden, whips it in, back post. Oh, Awani's brought down. But he goes down, hopefully, I think, just falls to the floor. Akanji potentially did something to make him fall down, but nothing. Not even VAR going to look at this. Is Kovacic back for Arsenal? I'm hoping so. I'm hoping so, Mustafa. Steve Cooper's fuming. Jeff, what a frustrating game this is turning out to be. We're dominating all game, we were. Jeff, what's your predictions, mate? I'm turning to you, Jeff. I'm turning to fantasy and magic. I'm not turning to logic anymore. I'm resorting to magic. Your magic. Gibbs-White. Into Dominguez, sorry. Bacate. Forest are growing here, They really are. Into the box. Gibbs-White cleared by Gvardiol. Alanga into the hands of Edison. Bit of a soft volley. Edison easy to deal with. 20 minutes to go. Asmos Diaz, good to see you in the chat. Stones should be available soon. They said that with Juan Malilo said that though, didn't he? He said that he should be available soon, and yet here we are. No John Stones. Thanks, Marie. Marie's doing my job for me. Thank you very much. Hit the like button if you could. That'd be hugely appreciated. This is a killer of a second half, isn't it? Relax, guys. We still have enough quality to sicken them with a third, says Mark. I totally agree. There's part of me that's thinking that might happen. There was a little moment there, a little flash of City going forward. But now it's time to defend. Crosses are going to come in. Awani is a threat in the air and on the edge of any sort of type of cross, low or high crosses. There is a genuine threat. But everything that's come into the box so far, Ake, Diaz, Kovacic, I've seen all three of those players get on the end of Forest crosses and clear it. So I think if we can keep a clean sheet, this bodes well for life without Rodri for the next 3 games at least. Calvin Phillips bursting forward down the right wing. Into the box. Willy Bolly. Oh. Haaland went all the way to the back post. If Haaland just stuck his position on the penalty spot, he's getting on the end of that. Good bit of play from Calvin Phillips. Positive play from Calvin Phillips. Hasn't been a time I think I can say adamantly, well played Calvin Phillips, because that was really good. Terrible throw from Kyle Walker. But we're in their half, which is good. Forest now have 72% possession, do they? Jesus. I still feel like we're going to win this game. Getting to this stage of the game, 73rd minute. I'm not seeing anything that's really making me panic. You know, I'm seeing like potential threats. That's potential threats, not genuine threats from Forest, but it's a bit hopeful. Crosses from them. You know, the last 10 minutes of the game, something could happen, of course. Anything could happen now. But, yeah, Nobert, thank God for scoring in the first half. Couldn't agree more, mate. We have been a team of 2 halves, haven't we? I think in first half, we're 2-0 up. Well, that doesn't bode well for Forest, does it? You're thinking, considering our second half performances have been so good this season, that we're going to make this 4-5, maybe 6-0. Instead, we decide to have a shit second half and get a man sent off. Instead, Forest bringing it forward. Mangala. Out to Aina, into Hudson-Odoi, back to Mangala. A lot of little triangles being worked here from Forest. Inside to Dominguez, Gibbs-White, Awani, penalty area, Diaz. Cleared. Brilliant bit of defending from Ruben Diaz. Into the box from Montiel. Diaz again. Gibbs-White. Akanji again. Fantastic defending. Brilliant defending from both Akanji and Diaz. That last moment, you just need that quality of defender, that strength, that physicality, and both players stepped up to the plate. Cleared it. Good bit of play from both Akanji and Diaz there. We must see this out. No excuses. Oh my God, they've sent on Chris Wood and Divock Origi. Divock Origi is known for last minute equalisers and winners and stuff for Liverpool, isn't he? Gaurav says Doku would have cooked on the counter. He would have done. It's just the other end of the pitch that I think we need to worry about. Corner to Forest. Some height in there. Awani, Wood. Divock Origi, corner comes in. Oh, it's flicked on. Nunez knocks it over. And he's trying to break away. He's gone out for a throw-in. Still, good play from Nunez. Who scored our 2 goals? Erling Haaland. Who scored our first? Foden. Phil Foden and Erling Haaland. Forest coming forward with Hudson-Odoi into Gibbs-White inside the City penalty area. Forced out by Nunes though. Haaland's back in the Rodri position almost. Back post cross. Push from Gibbs-White. There you go. Good bit of play. Another 5 minutes off the clock. Clean sheet. That's what we want. Clean sheet. With 10 men. That still sends a message. Moment of stupidity that will breathe a bit of confidence into Arsenal, knowing that Rodri's not going to be playing against them. But then they will have watched the game and gone, did Forest pose a threat? Well, not really. Everything so far has been dealt with. Even with 10 men, we look in control of the game. Control it. Defensive control, not attacking control. We have to admit that there's an element of threat from Forest, but still, I still don't feel panicked. Foden brought down by Mangala. Yellow card for him. Cheers, Jack. Appreciate that, mate. Nice videos. I deserve 100,000 subs. That's a big number that I'm a long way away from, to be honest. But appreciate the vote of confidence, mate. Long ball over the top to Ake's in. Back post, Haaland. Oh, he spooned it. He's absolutely spooned it. That's the Haaland we saw at West Ham. Absolute sitter. Sitter. Terrible defending from Forest. There's Montiel. I told you he's shite. Ake brings it down. Long ball, free kick over the top. Ake whips it across. Open goal for Erling Haaland. It's on the volley. He's just got to keep it down. Side foot, right foot. And I mean, it's not even close. It's Rosed material. That's game over. That's game over, that one. Foden intercepts. Brilliant. Haaland, mate. Why is he missing sitters at the minute? Why is he missing these sitters? It's frustrating. That header was not a sitter. You know, he's got to get it back across the goalkeeper for his goal. Really good. I don't think he could believe how easy it was for him to get in on goal. He had to bury that, though. And that would be 3-0 game over. Mark, was the miss that bad? It was really bad, mate. Really bad. Into the box, Edison collects. Really good. Jan, I agree, mate. I wonder if Pep made a mistake and should have taken off Haaland and kept Alvarez on the pitch. Jan, you're churning out the nice bit of thinking outside the box. You said about Stones before. Totally agree. And I agree. I don't think bringing Alvarez off was a good idea. I think he would have helped in the midfield side of things, the build-up play, defensively. You know, Alvarez is a busybody, he gets about. Haaland has become a luxury, hasn't he? In this position we find ourselves in with 10 men, we found that luxury with the very unlikely chance of getting an open goal for Erling Haaland to just tap it in, and he missed his chance. But I agree. I totally agree. Alvarez shouldn't have come off. City throw, giving it away. Forest, nope. Forest giving it away for a Manchester City corner. Can we punish them? Haaland has the height is probably Pep's mindset, says Big M. Yeah, for that long ball, possibly. I just feel like the way the game's panned out has been we need a man in the middle. And do you know what? Haaland has got back in defensive positions and he has put himself about. City corner. No one in the box. No one's in the box. We've taken it short and we're just keeping the ball. 80th minute. Bit early to be doing this, but Calvin Phillips finds himself in the box. Realise Nunes is offside. Keeps the ball really well, Calvin Phillips, but he's tackled. He's dispossessed by Niakate, unfortunately. Gvardiol brought down, kick to the head by Awani there. We got to be another yellow card, that isn't it? Oh, it's Origi, sorry. Another yellow card, please. Yep, there we go. His first yellow card, though. I think Awani's already been booked as well, hasn't he? If that was Awani, that would have been a red card. 10 versus 10. I don't think he meant it. Nah, he didn't even connect with him. Gvardiol went down very easily then. But you take it. City free kick. Looks about 35, 40 yards out. I think he's been kicked in the ribs more than anything, on the face. He went down holding his face, but I think he's been booted in the ribs. Yeah, there he is, lifting. He's holding his ribs. Danny W, I'm still confused on the red. Didn't even seem like Gibbs White did much. It was a delayed reaction from Gibbs White, wasn't it? At first glance, you think the fact that it went to VAR and spent a bit of time in the VAR offices or whatever the hell you want to call it, it went into VAR and they ummed and ahed about it, didn't they? They were thinking about it. It wasn't immediately walking off the pitch. No need for VAR. VAR looked at it. It's just the thumbs and the net. He did that, didn't he? It was just, even though it was he pushed him. He didn't grab him and hold it. He just pushed him like that. It was just one of them, wasn't it? And anything above the shoulders, connecting with your hands now, is a forceful motion. It's a red card, isn't it? That's the rules of the game. As shit as it is to see Gibbs White go down as easily as that, it wasn't like a genuine strangle or anything like that. Nothing that would wouldn't make you disrupt your breath. You'd still carry on breathing. It's just he thought it. Hang on a minute. He's just touched my neck. Oh, I'll fall over. It was one of them. Got himself a red card. Free kick to City. Phillips back post to Ake. Chris Wood with a good bit of defending there. Blocking Ake's attempts. Phillips on the ball. Keeps it just. Still got it, Calvin Phillips. Bringing it forward. Really well. Phillips has done good. He's doing well. Let's give him some credit. He's doing well here. Turning Mangala. He's got caught on the ball by Dominguez. Yeah, a little bit casual there from Phillips in the end. But good bit of play to bring the ball forward. Oh, here comes Hudson-Odoi. Into Divock Origi, edge of the area, shot, blocked by Gvardiol and cleared by Foden. Again, blue shirts behind the ball, blocking the shots, last-ditch defending, and good defending. Really good from City. The next 7 minutes are crucial, says Jack. Douglas, Midlander, there can only be one. It was the incident just before that triggered Rodri. Says Ego. I think it just yeah. But when you say the incident that happened before, what happened before was what happens in every scuffle on the pitch. You know, a man is on your back. He's not going to let you have it. He's on his back, and even if he's digging his fingernails in or whispering your mum's a whore or whatever it is, you don't react. You don't react. You 2-0 up. You turn round. You give it a cheeky smile. You tell him, well, your mum's a whore. Whatever it may be. You don't react physically. You don't get sent off. Really schoolboy stuff. Long ball down to Erling Haaland, who's fouled surely by Willy Bolly. Yeah, down in the corner flag. Erling Haaland doesn't even want the ball. He just flicks it out for a throw-in. Boring, dirty Forest, says Douglas Wright. Have you heard, that's another point. Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. That's literally what Forest sung to us for the last season, wasn't it? And that's been a quiet song, this game. I wonder why. They're clutching at straws there, aren't they? Acting like the big guns, aren't they, Forest? Here comes Jack Grealish. The perfect player for this type of game. Get Erling Haaland off. Jack Grealish on. That's what I'd do. Here he is. Haaland on the ball. Right in the corner flag. Crosses it to nobody. No one was in there. Nunes trying to close down. Turner on the ball. Nunes trying to close down Turner. Long ball up. Akanji's underneath it. Nods it out to Kyle Walker. Clever little header. Kyle Walker's been closed down by... is it Divock Origi? Back to Akanji. City having a lot of the ball now. First time in quite some time, but they've given it away. Akanji with a sloppy ball. Kyle Walker cleverly leaves it for Ruben Diaz. Gvardiol back to Ederson. Ooh, Ederson back to Akanji. he was trying to step over again. That Cruyff turn he did against Red Star stirred a few, didn't it? That I wasn't impressed. I'm glad it didn't punish us or anything, and it's fun. It's risky, though. You know what I mean? It's risky. It's not Erling Haaland coming off. It's Phil Foden coming off the pitch. Jack Grealish on. Phil Foden, goal scorer. Good to see Jack back, though. Grealish would be good here to keep the ball. Totally agree, Jack. Should have benched Haaland and rolled with Alvarez. With a man down, Alvarez's ball control and sharpness in front of goal make him a safer bet. Haaland's just going to lose the ball and miss chances, Aubriel says. A bit harsh, but what you've said is just echoing actually what just happened on the pitch. He hasn't given the ball away, Haaland. He's kept the ball really well, but he did miss a big chance. Just for the general momentum of play, I felt Alvarez suited this 10 men. You know, he runs about, doesn't he? And you need energy against 11 men. 10 versus 11, you need energy on the pitch. And when you say the name Erling Haaland, you don't think energy, do you? In terms of like closing down and being a busybody, like a pest to the opposition. Alvarez is a pest, isn't he, to the opposition? Having said that, Erling Haaland's closing down Willy Bolly right now. And doing a good job as well, kicking it, keeping it out. And there's Pep Guardiola going mental, doing that to Erling Haaland, firing him up. What don't you agree with, Ego? Doesn't surprise me, says Jan. It feels Pep doesn't want to upset Haaland and hook him off. More than happy to be proven wrong with Haaland getting the third. Hopefully. I don't think Haaland's got an ego, though. You know, I think there's a very good mentality there with Erling Haaland. A good head on the shoulders of Erling Haaland. I don't think he's got like a egotistical mentality. Anyway, Forest coming. Oh, fucking hell. Nearly ricocheted into the goal. Elanga bringing the ball forward and defended really well. Diaz tries to clear it, but he clears it straight off the shin of Elanga and it heads back towards Ederson's goal, but hits the side netting, thankfully. Yeah, I see your point, Big M. Keeping Haaland on for the counter-attacks. There's Rodri. Looking frustrated. Watching the game back. Long ball up to Haaland. And it's out for a throw-in for City. Eagle. Ha ha, Rodri's red card will start your downfall. Arsenal will toy with you. Arsenal couldn't toy with a baby's rattle, mate. You fucking emotional bottle jobs. Like, honestly, Arsenal. You think you would have learned, giving it all that, Arsenal fans, you think you would have learned by now, wouldn't you? Well, see where you are at the end of the season. Just like last season, we'll see where you are at the end of this season. Elanga bringing it forward, cleared by Akanji. Nunes knocks it up to Haaland with space to run into. Plays it safe, keeping the ball. Doesn't go for the counter-attack, just keeps the ball. Well played, Erling Haaland. Into Jack Grealish, who's keeping the ball really well, as you'd expect. Jack Grealish beating his man. Okay, what? Why is the referee giving a free kick there? Mangala's gone down, even though Jack Grealish had the ball. Mangala hurt himself trying to kick Jack Grealish. Oh, give over. Anthony, he's gone down holding his nose as if Jack Grealish is elbowed. He hasn't done anything. Hasn't done anything. Phillips is playing well, says Classy is. He's doing all right. 7 bloody minutes of injury time. It should be done now. 90th minute in. Can we keep a clean sheet with 10 men? London Bottling Factory sponsors all the London clubs for a reason, says Anthony. Yeah. Calvin Phillips in CDM against Arsenal. You know you're terrified. We've got John Stones. We've got Kovacic. You've got Spurs to beat, mate. Let's see what you do this weekend before we start giving it large. They never make me... They're always good for a laugh, Arsenal fans, aren't they? You see that Arsenal fan crying with joy for being in the Champions League, yet they're a big club, apparently. Crying with joy to the Champions League anthem. We fucking boo it, mate. We boo it. And we win it, and then we boo it. That's what we do. You cry for the Champions League national anthem with joy, and then you're probably going to get knocked out in the early stages. So, Arsenal fans, never short of a good laugh, are they? And last season went on to win absolutely fuck all. Yet there they are, having the season of their lives and come away with nothing. Free kick to Forest, whipped in. Dealt with. Walker bringing it away. Leaves it. Instead, actually, lets it go out for a throw-in. Any more Arsenal fans want to give it large? I'm all for it. We need to get opposition fans on here, don't we? Because you guys haven't seen me argue yet. The City fans on here have only seen me talk down the barrel of the gun, down the lens of a camera. Get me talking to some rival fans, and we'll have a good laugh. Haaland giving it large, waving the City fans. I know what you're saying, Jan, and I actually agree. I think Haaland should have come off, and I would have preferred to have seen Alvarez against 10 men. I think he suits playing against 10 men more than Haaland does, but he has done well. Minus the sitter, it should have made it 3-0. He missed an absolute sitter. But his actual contribution to the game, hold-up play has been decent. He's got back, he's defended all right. So he hasn't done badly with 10 men. But I still maintain it's hypothetical now. We'll never know how well Alvarez would have done because he came off the pitch. But personally, I think Alvarez suits playing against 10 men more. Grealish brought down, goes down very easily, but wins the free kick. Montiel, Grealish squaring up. What are you doing, Grealish? Raising your hands. We're looking for another 9-man. Yellow card. Dished out to Montiel. But not for Grealish, I don't think. Who is your man of the match? For me, Gvardiol or Foden, says Major. Or Marja. Gvardiol's been good. I wouldn't give him the man of the match, though. I think Foden. I think you're right, mate. I think Foden. Champions of Europe, you'll never sing that, says Jack. Another Jack. Good to see another Jack in there. How many English Players of the Year awards has Rice won? LOL, Phillips has got one. Yeah. Haaland taking it into the corner. Montiel knocks it inside. He's giving it away. Forest are trying to mount something. There's no way they're getting an equaliser now. Surely. Surely. This is... the game's won now, you like to think. 93rd minute. 94th minute, sorry. 95th minute approaching. Forest haven't really looked like scoring. To be honest, there was that one Owoni chance, and other than that, nothing. Hudson-Odoi for it. Ooh, Edison with a big save. Big save from Edison. Fired into the bottom corner. Still not out. He saved it. He's gone out for a throw-in. Quick corner, actually. Gibbs-White. Back post. Awani. Gvardiol with a header. Willy Bolly, edge of the area. Shot. Saved by Edison again. Love it from Edison. Big pats on the back from all the City defence who run over to Edison, give him a big pat on the back. Fully deserved. Massive save, that was. Massive save. Love it. Absolutely brilliant from Edison. Just corner flag now, says Jack Lee. Brilliant. Cheers, Marie. Yeah, don't forget to smash the like. 130 in the building. I've got a feeling a lot of those are rival fans who are wanting to see City lose. Unlucky. Unlucky. Sorry, lads. 10-man City, they don't crumble. We don't crumble. We're too strong. When will you learn? I'm sensing a lot of rival fans have all come crawling into the chat in the final few minutes. But, yeah, 2-0 City so far, 95th minute. Edison with some big saves. Hudson-Odoi is now on the right wing going up against Nathan Ake, who pocketed Saka, if you remember. Nathan Ake versus Saka was an embarrassment for Saka. It was the most one-sided one-on-one I've seen in a long time. Saka just disappeared in that game in the League Cup last season. In one of the 3 times we beat Arsenal last season. 3 times. Home, away, and then home again. Easy as you like. But fair play to Arsenal. They are still believing in themselves, aren't they? Bless their cotton socks. Man City need to worry about the next game against Red Star Belgrade before thinking about winning the Champions League. I'm confused, mate. I'm confused. We're not playing Red Star next. We have already played them, mate. We beat them. Fuck's sake. You're going to come in the chat and giving it large. Get it right, mate. I'll have steak and chips with an Arsenal crumble, asks Douglas. Yeah. Yeah. This has been a fantastic performance from the rest of the team that were on the pitch following that stupid moment of madness from Rodri. Really good from the rest of the team to manage the game as well as they've done. One genuine opportunity for Forest. Other than that, it's been complete control, really. You expect Forest to have more of the ball. They have had more of the ball. They have had the ball in our half a lot more and even in the final third. But any cross that's come in, bonk. Get it out, says Edison. Diaz clears it. Akanji, block shots. Nothing to really worry about. And it's a really good test to finally have a defensive performance. You know, a game where you're expecting it to be all one way has been complete. Yeah, you don't expect that from the second half. Final whistle's gone. Game over. Game over. 2-0. Foden. Alvarez. Big smiles. Jack Grealish getting wound up by Montiel. But ultimately, a good performance. 2 very opposing performances required because of the Rodri sending off, of course. But ultimately, 2 halves, different performances, but good. Defensively good. First half, clinical. You know, we came out of that first half with 6 shots, 4 on target, 2 goals. They were the stats that we saw against Fulham. Sheffield United, West Ham, Red Star Belgrade getting into the 30s from a shot point of view, yet we weren't winning the game or taking our chances as much as we should have done. And in fairness, the best chance of the second half was Erling Haaland, and he should have made it 3-0. Yet doesn't matter at the end of the day. At the end of today, it will matter going forward because Haaland needs to start taking these chances now because that was 2 open goals against West Ham and an open goal against Forest today, and he's missed them. You know, so we can't ignore that. But he got a goal. He got his goal. So 3 points on the board. City currently, what are we? 5 points clear of Arsenal, who play tomorrow, who will be worried about that Spurs game. Come on, you spuddos. But ultimately, it's been a good day. Manchester City, top of the league. A very, very familiar position for Manchester City fans and a position that I'm quite comfortable in. Manchester City fans are happy. I'm happy. Pep's happy. Good day. Good day. Let's hope Burnley can do us a favour and beat the Rags. And then Arsenal will drop points against Spurs. And then we've got a fantastic weekend of football to enjoy. Blues, thank you so much for joining me in the chat. Even rival fans, thanks for joining me in the chat, giving it large. I don't mind. It's fun. But yeah, thank you much for joining me in the chat, and I will see you in the next one.